subscribe, like the video, and, if possible, join Patreon. But if you don't have much money, you can support the channel by watching the novels on euroaudiobooks.com. Remember that you can participate in the polls so that your favorite novel gets published for free.
Arabata Academy. He said that as long as you are willing to apologize to Katsuo Ida, you can go back to school. And the college also attaches great importance to you, a top student, and told me to exempt your tuition. Gloria looked at her son in front of her and suddenly felt a headache. She had only been in a coma for a day, and David installed Sion Waystein on himself, and even became a mercenary, and even made a commission. It's impossible for me to apologize to that guy. Who knows what Arabata Academy is planning? David said with a displeased face. In his opinion, there is no such good thing as a pie in the sky at Huangban College. Scholarship? That's pocket money for those rich boys. David, Ms. Gloria. Ye Fei walked straight into the ward and saw Gloria sitting on the bed. When he rescued people that day, Gloria was disheartened, and she looked no different from ordinary people. But looking at it today, Gloria has obviously been cleaned up by a nurse, and she looks quite beautiful now. Of course, it's not that Ye Fei wants to be a chow thief. He still prefers girls. Brother Yi, why are you here? When David saw Ye Fei appearing in the ward, he was happy at first, and then gave Gloria a guilty look. Nothing, just take a look. Ye Fei said, Are you Ye Fei? Thank you very much for saving your life. When Gloria heard David calling Ye Fei Ye Go, she remembered what David told him about their savior was Ye Fei. It's nothing. David has already paid off the money I paid for you. Ye Fei shook his head and said. Hearing Ye Fei's words, Gloria's body trembled unavoidably. Mr. Yi, I would like to talk to you about David's being a mercenary. Gloria really didn't want David to be a mercenary. She had worked as a mercenary with man before. Knowing how dangerous this road is, she decided to quit after she became pregnant with David. Fortunately, man can be regarded as a more conscientious boss, knowing that she wanted to quit and gave her a sum of money. If you change to those unconscionable mercenary captains, you will never even think about quitting. Ms. Gloria, I think you should consider this matter. Huangban Academy is not a kind school. David just beat the son of a school manager yesterday. Today, Huangban Academy let him go back to Huangban Academy. There is no such good thing in the world. David used Sion Waystein yesterday at Huangban Academy. Ye Fei's words immediately made Gloria's face turn pale. Chapter 56. Yulin Quan Food Factory. David, you also use Sean Weston. Do you know how dangerous this thing is? Gloria valued David more than her own life. She thought David was just a mercenary, and it was dangerous to earn 30,000 euros. Ms. Gloria, please calm down first and listen to me first. Ye Fei's words made Gloria give up and continue to torture David. David's tolerance for prosthetics is stronger than that of ordinary people. This is a fact, especially since he has not received any training. I heard that the Arba group seems to have developed a new armor codenamed King Kong, and they are in urgent need of someone with a high tolerance for prosthetic bodies to experiment. Ye Fei said that even though Gloria was being dull, she understood that Huangban Academy was willing to let David go back to school, and even exempted all system maintenance fees and all tuition fees. If David returns to Huangban Academy to study now, he will probably be arrested and used as an experimental subject. The advent of a new prosthesis requires a large number of human experiments to stabilize the data. Thinking of this, Gloria's whole body had lost color and collapsed on the bed. As for Ye Fei deceiving herself, she never thought about it. Ye Fei's willingness to save people in Night City and advance money in advance shows that the other party is of high moral character. There is no need to lie to yourself. David is just a fledgling kid. There is no value for Ye Fei to lie. What's more, Ye Fei didn't lie at all. Tanaka really wanted to trick David into going back to the academy and arrest him for experimentation. Anyway, there are countless missing people in Night City every day. There are not many Davids, and there are not many missing ones. Oh, well, Mr. Yi, I want to ask you a question. It took Gloria a while to recover, and then she looked at Ye Fei with a pleading expression on her face and said, Tell me, let me see if I can answer you. Can you do your best to keep David safe? Gloria's face was full of confusion. To be honest, she really didn't want David to become a mercenary, but the current situation was that Arbin had already set his sights on David, if he didn't have a backer to rely on. I am afraid that when those people get impatient, they will directly arrest David. Don't worry, as long as they are our people, I will guarantee their safety. Ye Fei nodded and said, I'm relieved like this. David, if you have something to do, go and do it. I want to be alone now. Gloria was relieved to hear Ye Fei's answer. Man also came to see her just now. He also talked about David and Ye Fei being mercenaries, which made Gloria know that David had been expelled from the academy and became a mercenary. That's what's happening now. Outside the hospital gate, Brother Yi, I'm sorry for causing you trouble. David came out of the hospital like a frosted eggplant. Stinky boy, what are you talking about? You are a member of our team. Ye Fei patted David on the shoulder. Let's go. Our target today is the Whole Foods factory of the Maelstrom gang. Whole Foods, didn't we go there last time? Does this have something to do with Dexter's commission? Jack's face was a little strange. They only took over the Whole Foods factory of the Maelstrom gang a week ago. And what are they going to do now? Dexter said that our commission needs a very important robot, and he is in the Maelstrom. Ye Fei didn't explain too much, and Jack and the others didn't ask too much. Outside Whole Foods processing plant, the task is very simple. Take out the Maelstrom gang in the Whole Foods factory. Of course, the first task is to find Xiaoping too. Ye Fei gave an order, but didn't make too many arrangements. Don't worry, Ye Fei. I'm going to try my new gorilla arm. Jack smiled and clenched his fists. Well, since Ye Fei and the others slaughtered the Whole Foods factory last time, the new boss Luo EC has strengthened the defense here. Not only did the number of guards on the periphery double, but even the entrance to their basement had several more heavy machine guns. It can be seen how terrible Ye Fei's last action was for the Maelstrom gang. This time Ye Fei and the others can only choose to attack frontally. Lucy, you're responsible for hacking all the traps and monitoring equipment in the Whole Foods factory. IV and Jack hacked in from the front. As for you, David, I will wrong you to pick up the weapons of those Maelstrom gang members. Ye Fei's task is assigned. Although the task given to David seems a bit insignificant, he has no objection. He only has a Sion withstand, which does not improve his combat effectiveness much. Would consider David a fight with them. Ye Fei, the younger brother of the Maelstrom gang outside the Whole Foods factory, didn't want to waste much time. After all, they were all within sight. He simply hacked into the system of a little boy from the Whirlpool gang and started to infect him with a little bit of virus. On fire. I'm on fire. What's going on? I'm on fire too. For a while, the Vortex gang members who were patrolling outside were ignited with flames, and then the prosthetic bodies in their bodies began to explode. In less than half a minute, the people outside were dead. Brother Yi, could it be that Lucy did this? This is the first time David has seen this kind of scene. He has heard that hackers can remotely hack into people's systems and burn their prosthetic bodies. Lucy? No, Lucy was in charge of trapping and monitoring Whole Foods factories, and I burned these people. Ye Fei said with a normal expression. Hey, David, you just formed a team with us. In the future, you will find that Ye Fei knows a lot, and now he is just the tip of your iceberg. Jack laughed. Chapter 57. The scared boss of the Whirlpool gang Whole Foods factory Luo EC is enjoying the SX doll service from Hintang in his exclusive room. Ugh. Luo EC felt that he had reached the pinnacle of his life. A week ago, his good brother Brick was killed by some mercenaries, and he took over the Maelstrom gang because of his tough methods. Now that he has obtained all the resources and most of the property of the Vortex gang, it can be regarded as a prestigious mission in Night City. Boss, it's not good. Those people are calling again. A person hurriedly broke into Luo EC's lounge. What? The group of mercenaries from last week. When Luo EC heard the little brother's words, he pushed the puppet away and stood up. He couldn't forget the miserable situation of those little brothers and Brick when he came to the Whole Foods factory. The only picture we captured on surveillance, I have also confirmed that they are indeed that group of mercenaries. The younger brother's words pushed Luo EC from the peak of his life just now to the bottom. FK, these guys are pancakes. Do you have to fight our Whirlpool? Luo EC felt that he was a FG dog, but now he was unwilling to give up everything he had gained in the past few days. As the saying goes, it is easy to go from frugal to extravagant, but difficult to go from extravagant to frugal. Luo EC just enjoyed enough, and now it is impossible to run away with people. If he runs away at this juncture, he will completely miss the position of the boss of the Whirlpool gang. Boss, what to do now? What should I do? Take military technology. I want to fight them to the death. Luo EC said through gritted teeth. Haha, Ye Fei, this gorilla arm is so cool. Jack said to Ye Fei excitedly after punching a maelstrom boy against the wall. Stop playing, Jack. You can use this to your heart's content when you go to a boxing match. Today we are here to make it official. Ye Fei reloaded the smart weapon in his hand again and said to Jack, there are quite a lot of people in the Maelstrom gang today, at least twice as many as last time when there were only a dozen people. More than 50 people fired wildly at them together. The deterrent effect of that scene was quite great. Although he was not afraid of those bullets, Jack and V still had to dodge. Boys, hit me hard. Luo EC was upstairs manipulating a heavy machine gun and firing wildly in Ye Fei's direction. A group of stinky mercenaries who don't know the heights of the heavens and the earth. I want you to taste my strength. The powerful firepower made V and Jack dare not show up outside the bunker. In addition, most of their weapons today are the sophisticated weapons used by the military technology transport team, which are better than those used by the little brothers of the Maelstrom gang last time. Phew. FK Luo EC. The firepower is so strong. This battle was the fiercest they had ever fought. Even the previous stronghold of the Tiger Claw gang was not as fierce as here. Forget it. I'll take care of everything. After Ye Fei finished speaking, he rushed out. He didn't want to waste too much time in this kind of place. The extremely fast speed made Ye Fei feel that the world had stopped in his perspective. He took out a kinetic pistol and shot at the head of the Whirlpool gang on the first floor. Since the battle was to be resolved quickly, Luo EC, who was upstairs holding a heavy machine gun and firing, was indispensable. Ye Fei rushed directly to Luo EC's side and grabbed him to the place where they were hiding before. All the gunfire in the huge Whole Foods factory stopped in an instant. And for the perspective of V and Jack, Ye Fei had just finished saying that he had solved everything. In less than a second, Luo EC, who had been arrogantly firing at them upstairs just now, was stepped on the ground by Ye Fei and pointed a pistol at his head with a dazed expression. What happened? But from Luo EC's perspective, he was even more confused. He felt that his perspective was blurred for a moment and appeared in this place. And he was stepped on by Ye Fei. Where are people? Hurry up and call me. As soon as Luo EC yelled, he found that the Whole Foods processing plant was extremely quiet now, and his echo could even be heard. And the gunshots that were still ringing just now have all stopped. Ye Fei, you are really a pervert. Jack swallowed. He only felt his throat was very dry now, and he even glanced at Luo EC when he was yelling just now. The members of the Whirlpool gang who had been firing at them just now were all lying on the ground motionless. And without exception, there was a big hole in the head of these people, and it was obvious that they were shot in the head by Ye Fei. Are you a pervert? Are you Luo EC, the boss of the Maelstrom gang? Ye Fei glared at Jack angrily, and then asked Luo EC at his feet. Boom! Seeing that Luo EC under his feet didn't speak, Ye Fei kicked him to the side of the corpses of those Whirlpool gang boys. I'm asking you something. Talk. Ye Fei's voice came again, and Luo EC came back to his senses, feeling the incomparable pain in his abdomen. And then he saw clearly all the brothers of the Whirlpool gang who had fallen to the ground. Yes, yes, yes. I am Luo EC, the boss of the Maelstrom gang. Please don't kill me. Don't kill me. Luo EC is crazy, but why did he go crazy seeing this hellish scene? Completely terrified. Well, Dexter called us here, saying that you hacked one of his prototype robots called Xiaoping 2. Is there such a thing? Yes. Yes. I will take you to get it now. As long as you let me go, you can take all the Curry military technology in our warehouse. Luo EC just wants to save his life now. The reason why he dared to fight Ye Fei just now is entirely because the layout of the Whole Foods factory today is much stronger than the firepower and personnel a week ago. As a result, Ye Fei solved everything in an instant: how to fight. The three of Ye Fei followed Luo EC to the warehouse, and soon Luo EC took out their target Xiaoping too. Chapter 58. Ye Fei took a look. While it's not much different from the small crew cut in the game, Ye Fei even scanned it. This is the crew cut you're looking for. Luo EC is going to scold Dexter, that fat black man. In his heart now, he just wants to make more money, but Dexter actually finds Ye Fei a lunatic to slaughter them. Help! It's just that Luo EC now only hopes that Ye Fei can release him as soon as he gets Xiaoping too. He hasn't had enough of the boss position yet. Why don't you die if you find everything? Ye Fei looked at Luo EC in question with a face full of doubts. He would not leave himself alive with a time bomb that might retaliate against him. He knows these guys too well. When you are stronger than him, he admits to you, if one day Ye Fei leaves Night City, his subordinates will be punished if they don't keep everything together. Even when Lucy and V were out shopping, their Maelstrom gang could still send people to assassinate them. What? When Luo EC heard Ye Fei's words, he turned his head and ran away. He didn't expect that Ye Fei would kill someone without even pretending. It's just that Jack can stay at the door of the warehouse at this time, waiting for Royce to come out. Where are you going? Jack said that the gorilla's arm had already started to drive with all its strength, and it punched Luo EC hard on the head. Pooh! Just like that, the boss of the Whirlpool gang who had just taken office for less than a week died here. Ye Fei put away his flathead, glanced at the equipment surrounded by military technology marks, and suddenly thought of an idea to make a fortune. Ding! Ye Fei dialed the number Dexter had given him. Who are you? How did you know my phone number? On the other end of the phone, a mature-looking woman answered the phone, but he was surrounded by military technology soldiers. Ms. Stott, I know you are looking for your military technology equipment. Presumably you don't want these equipment to fall into the hands of those gangs in Night City. Ye Fei said, all our equipment is in your hands. Stott originally thought that the caller was just a gangster, but he walked out of here immediately after hearing the whereabouts of the equipment he was in charge of. No, I just broke into the stronghold of the Maelstrom gang. Guess what I found in the warehouse, Curry? Ye Fei said with a smile. You mean the Maelstrom gang intercepted our convoy? Stott glanced at the man she was torturing. This gang of remodelers, besides them, there are those madmen who dare to rob the company. Ye Fei shrugged and said, 50,000 euros. Stott gave Ye Fei a price he liked without even blinking an eye. Anyway, the most valuable crew cut will be taken away by them, and the rest of the equipment will be handed over to Stott for her to take away. Whole Foods factory. I don't need to say more about the exact location, Miss Stott. Ye Fei directly stated the location. Anyway, he was not afraid that Stott would dare to renege. Stott hung up the phone immediately after getting the location. It was obvious that she was going to bring someone here now. Jack, you and David first take the guns below to find a suitable buyer. V and Lucy take Xiaoping 2 back to the apartment. I'm here to trade with people from military technology. Ye Fei wouldn't be so stupid as to ask the military technologist to take away those guns as well. That pile was worth at least 20,000 euros. Mosquitoes are meat no matter how small they are. The most important ones are the curry ones. Although he took Xiaoping 2 away, the others are also military technology that has not yet appeared on the market. No problem. Then let's go first. The Ritz bar is waiting for you. Jack nodded, and then V walked up to Ye Fei and said, be careful and be safe when dealing with those company dogs. It's okay, don't you know my skills? Ye Fei laughed. After Jack and the others left, Ye Fei waited for another 10 minutes. There was a sound of hurried footsteps, and Ye Fei walked out of the warehouse and saw several military technology soldiers armed with live ammunition. Don't move. I told you to stand there and not move. One of the tech soldiers pointed a gun at Ye Fei and yelled. At this time, a mature woman in high heels walked into the Whole Foods factory, and the air inside made her frown as soon as she walked in, and then she saw the scene of blood flowing into a river inside. Are you the one who called me just now? Stott looked at Ye Fei proudly. Although the scene in the Whole Foods factory looked scary, it was not enough for a small senior executive of her company to scare her. Wow, I said if I were you, I wouldn't let one of my men point a gun at me. Ye Fei said with a flat face that he hasn't killed all the tech soldiers present because he doesn't want to do it, but it doesn't mean he doesn't mind killing them. Put your guns down. Stott didn't know why, but after hearing Ye Fei's words, she felt a tremor in her heart, and she simply asked the soldier to put down the gun. Where's the thing I want? Stott asked with a flat face. Shouldn't you settle the bill first, Miss Stott, before accepting the delivery? Ye Fei smiled and said, facing the rich man who gave him money, Ye Fei has always been quite tolerant. Turn around. As soon as Stott's eyes lit up, Ye Fei received the account information of 50,000 euros. Cheer up. I'll take you to the warehouse right now. After Ye Fei finished speaking, he took Stott and the others to Tsang Curry. Stott looked around, and the things here are indeed the goods that were robbed in their transport this time. But there's only one important thing missing. A prototype robot of military technology, Xiaoping 2. Immediately, Stott's face became extremely ugly. You must know that she was willing to pay 50,000 euros because of the flathead. If there is no flathead here, the things here are worth at most 40,000 euros. Where did Xiaoping 2 go? Stott looked at Ye Fei with a gloomy face and said, Little flathead? What's that? When I came here, there were only these things left. Ye Fei shrugged his shoulders. His face didn't blush or his heart skipped a beat when he lied. Boss, he didn't lie. One of the tech soldiers who had scanned Ye Fei from the beginning said to Stott. Chapter 59. Evelyn Parker. Ye Fei couldn't help but sneered in his heart. Just kidding, I'm a Superman. Controlling my heartbeat and facial micro-expression is like drinking water. Even if I connect with that soldier, it is impossible to find out that he is lying. Of course, Ye Fei doesn't like to connect with men, and it's about the same for Stott. Stott's face suddenly became very ugly. If Xiaoping 2 is not here and is no longer in Ye Fei's hands, then he has already been sold by the Maelstrom gang. But now all the people here are dead, and there is still Luo Isi's body at the door. So Xiaoping 2 can't be found at all. Miss Stott, in fact, you don't need to worry too much. I have heard a little bit about Xiaoping 2. It is a prototype robot produced by your military technology company. I took it from an undeveloped researcher. I got some data, which seems to be for robots like Xiaoping 2. Ye Fei took out a chip as he said that. He didn't do anything in 10 minutes and borrowed the computer from the Maelstrom gang. I just scanned the flathead just to see where there are defects. According to Ye Fei's current superbrain, it is easy to write some defects of the small flathead for the chip. What? Stott was shocked. Xiaoping 2 is a latent robot designed by his company last month to target wasteboards. If what Ye Fei said is true, then as long as Stott gets this data, he can not only make up for his mistakes, but also possibly it may not be possible to go further. What do you want? As much as Stott wanted the data, she also knew there was no such thing as a free lunch. It's nothing. Miss Stott just gave me 50,000 euros. Take this data as a gift from me. Ye Fei didn't ask for more money. Sometimes it's better to give a little favor. Saying that, Ye Fei took out the chip and handed it to Stott. I like to work with smart people like you. I think I will definitely find you to do business when I have the opportunity in the future. Stott personally checked the chip in Ye Fei's hand and found that it was indeed the shortcoming of the small flathead researched by the company's internal research data and even had a countermeasure. Small, have a nice evening, Miss Stott. After Ye Fei finished speaking, she walked out of the Whole Foods processing plant. Back home, Ye Fei took a shower first. Ye Fei, you said that we will need this little thing for our next commission. At this time, Lucy is currently debugging the data of the small flat head standing on the table, and V is looking at the robot curiously and said, That's right, our next commission will be very dangerous, and we really need this robot to help us carry out the mission. Ye Fei's words made V couldn't help but become serious. Even Ye Fei said it was a very dangerous commission. So the mission goal this time is so terrible. Ding at this time, Ye Fei received a call from Dexter. How was your evening, Mr. Yi? Dexter greeted Ye Fei first, and it was obvious that he had heard that Ye Fei had massacred the Maelstrom gang in the Whole Foods factory again. Dexter couldn't hide the fact that Jack and David went to gangsters to sell guns, but he didn't care about it. He only cared about whether Xiaoping 2 got it. I know what you mean, Dexter. Pix is at my house right now, and our team of hackers is debugging it. As Ye Fei said that, he patted Dexter on the head. Mr. Yi is hard-working in his work, and I will transfer this reward to you later. When Dexter saw Xiaoping too, he immediately felt relieved. When we meet, pass it on to me. Ye Fei is not in a hurry to get the money, and he is not in short supply now. Okay then, Mr. Yi, let's meet tomorrow night at the Afterlife bar, and just report my name when we arrive. Dexter said, by the way, Mr. Yi, our employer, Ms. Evelyn, is eager to meet you. When do you have time? Just tonight. I'll go out after taking a shower. Tell her to meet you at the Liz bar in half an hour. No problem. I'll notify Ms. Evelyn right away. After Dexter finished speaking, Ye Fei hung up the phone. How is it? Lucy, have you fully understood the control data of this robot? Ye Fei patted Lucy on the shoulder and sat beside her and asked, it's okay. With the data and information you provided, I can almost decipher it. This little thing has quite a lot of functions. I think he can find a way to invade even a defense system like the Huangban Tower. Lucy said. Ye Fei couldn't help laughing when he heard it. Lucy's words were very coincidental. He knew that the target of this mission was the Cyberpunk building. Therefore, the defense system of the Cyberpunk building is also very complete. You two have a good rest tonight. I'm going to meet with our employer this time. After Ye Fei finished speaking, she walked out of the apartment. Inside the Ritz, hey, isn't this Ye Fei? Why come to us today when you have time? The bartender greeted Ye Fei when he saw Ye Fei coming. Ye Fei is considered a celebrity at the Ritz bar, and there are many fledgling mercenaries who want to meet Ye Fei. I have something to talk to someone about, so I'm here. Ye Fei shrugged his shoulders as he spoke, then looked at Evelyn, who was sitting in another seat at the bar, and said, so when are you going to start talking to me, Ms. Evelyn? Mr. Dexter told me that you desperately wanted to see me, and I came here. Evelyn, who originally wanted to sit by and listen to what Ye Fei had to say, was obviously taken aback. She had never met Ye Fei before, so why did she recognize her? Why do you know me? Evelyn said with some vigilance that her commission this time can be said to be breaking ground on Tai Sui, so she must be extremely careful. In case the information leaked, she had to flee Night City as soon as possible, otherwise her own life might be lost. Chapter 60 Judy's Change. You don't need to be nervous, Evelyn. I saw a photo of you and her in Judy's studio, and Judy mentioned you to me. Ye Fei smiled and said, this is not a lie. He and Judy have a good relationship, and Judy will often tell Ye Fei about her own affairs. That's right. I'm sorry. My matter is so important that I don't want to make any mistakes. Evelyn breathed a sigh of relief when she heard Ye Fei's explanation. If this person can handle Judy well, then it should be very reliable. It's okay. It's normal for employers to have concerns. There is no need to apologize. Ye Fei shook his head and said in a very gentle manner. Evelyn was a little stunned for a while, and then immediately came back to her senses. Ahem, let's talk in Judy's studio. It's not very convenient here. After speaking, he stood up and walked towards the underground studio. Ye Fei didn't even need Evelyn to lead the way. He knew how to get to Judy's studio with his eyes closed. Wow. The Vortex gang added another 67 people to Dead Man's Lottery today, and it's almost breaking 100. It was already past midnight, and the Dead Man's Lottery, a major program in Night City, had also drawn a lottery. Judy sat at her desk and looked at the Dead Man's Lottery on a screen, and it was obvious that Judy knew that it was Ye Fei who did it. Really? I remember that there should be 1 or 2 more people. Ye Fei smiled and said, should none of you be injured? Judy asked casually. Fortunately, the group of reformers from the Uzumaki gang can't hurt us. Ye Fei shook his head. Then he dragged a chair from the side and sat on it. Actually, it's okay. Lucy and I hacked a dozen people from the Whirlpool gang first, and then I killed them all with a smart weapon after entering. That scene was really cool. Gone. It sounds like a good super dream material, but unfortunately, we don't have time to do it today. Judy imagined the scene Ye Fei said a little bit, and found it quite interesting. Ye Fei, I just told you straight to the point. This time our goal is the Cyberpunk building. Evelyn said with a serious face. Really? Sounds a bit challenging, but you should go into more detail. Compared with Evelyn's serious and tense expression, Ye Fei's face didn't show any sense of tension at all, and even seemed a little sleepy. Ye Fei, I think you still have to think about it carefully. This matter is too dangerous. And you, Xiao AI, why did you put your mind on Huangban Tower? Seeing Ye Fei's cynical look, Zhu Di felt a little anxious. Naturally, she edited Chow Ming for Evelyn in advance and knew what Evelyn wanted to do this time. But at the same time, Ye Fei is a friend she doesn't hate, and she gets along very well with her. Judy doesn't want to lose such an interesting friend. That's right. In Judy's opinion, this mission is no different from courting death. Judy, you don't understand. This matter is the only possibility for me to get rid of the status quo and soar into the sky. Just take it as me begging you. Evelyn finally found such a reliable mercenary, and she didn't want Judy to persuade her to quit when she was about to kick the door. Judy, I have already accepted the commission this time. Since I have accepted the task, I have to help the employer complete the commission. Are you right? Ye Fei's tone was gentle, but what she said made Judy feel so firm. After being silent for a while, Judy looked at Ye Fei and said, I hope you have the opportunity to come to my place to record the scene of making a big fuss in the Cyberpunk building. Of course, you're the best Mutwo technician in the city, Ye Fei said with a smile. Even in a somewhat depressing situation, Ye Fei's smile brought a sense of relief to the depressing atmosphere. As for Evelyn, he is just one of Ye Fei's employers, and Ye Fei won't care what she thinks. Ye Fei also thought about the possible ending she might face if he went to tell Evelyn himself. So can Evelyn stop? No, this in itself is a big gamble for Evelyn's future. No matter what the ending is, he can only accept it silently. Ye Fei will not pity him, because this is the greatest disrespect for a dream chaser. Judy, do you know why I, a former wanderer, came in Night City? Too much Ye Fei, money, power, fame, and all kinds of human desires. I have seen many people of all kinds, mercenaries, SX puppets, street gang punks, they all want to be Night City legend. It's just a pity that our legends will eventually be buried in the soil. At the end, Judy also shrugged. I will also become a legend in Night City in the future, of course, the living one. Wow, don't I know a living legend? It's a pity that I'm not in the mood today, otherwise I would definitely have a drink with you. Judy imagined that scene, and immediately felt a little longing after watching the Chow Ming video of the Cyberpunk building and confirming the location of the relic chip. Ye Fei walked out of the Ritz bar. He still held Judy's very precious pistol in his hand. And then Ye Fei remembered the scene when Judy gave him the pistol. This is my pistol. It's called Liz. It's a good technical pistol. It's out of production now. It's the only one in Night City. I'll lend you this pistol. Remember to return it to me. Have you understood? Judy stroked Liz in her hand and then put it in Ye Fei's arms. Thank you, Judy. I'll bring it back intact and return it to you. After Ye Fei finished speaking, Judy didn't respond, but walked back to her studio and closed the door. Ye Fei didn't know. Could it be that Judy was straightened by herself? But after thinking about it, I think it's impossible. Although I have a good relationship with Judy, even if the male V in the game helped Judy settle the matter of Hentang, I didn't attack Judy. How could I possibly be able to straighten an old lace these days? Without thinking too much, Ye Fei went home, and of course, he had an agreement with Jack and the others beforehand. Back home again, Ye Fei didn't do anything, but lay directly on the sofa and watched the bustling scene of Night City outside the window. Chapter 61. Afterlife Bar noon the next day, Ye Fei took V and Lucy to Victor's clinic, and David and Jack were already waiting there. After all, stealing Relic was going to Cyberpunk building, a key building of Arba Company. The defensive power will not be much weaker than that of the Huangban Tower. So Ye Fei asked everyone who went to the hotel to go to Victor to install a skin prosthesis. Not much to put on, but the best subcutaneous armor must be added. Ye Fei has already contacted Victor after fighting the Whirlpool gang yesterday. Because it was an urgent need, even Victor's contacts had to spend a lot of money to buy the 4th order subcutaneous armor for the two of them. The purchase price for one set was $30,000, and it was too difficult to get 2 sets of Tier 4 subcutaneous armor in a short time. It usually takes half a year for a set to come out on the black market, and if it weren't for the people Victor knows, they wouldn't be able to buy it. As for V, she has installed subcutaneous armor before, so Ye Fei doesn't need to install this thing. David and Jack installed it first, and they were lying on the bed in the clinic to slowly feel the anesthesia brought by the anesthetic. David also installed some more limb prostheses, by the way, such as the same leg thrusters as in the anime, and the second-order guerrilla arms. Of course, the money was sold for the guns of the Uzumaki gang. Ye Fei directly gave Dave Wei used to install multiple prosthetic bodies. Ye Fei, how can you accept such a dangerous commission? Because Victor needed to add Tier 4 subcutaneous armor to both V and Lucy later, he didn't choose to drink, but drank a little. It's nothing, I just want a Huangban sight to play. Ye Fei took a sip from the drink on the table and said, how could this kind of task be for fun? Do you think this is a child's game? Victor's voice became a little stern. He was very optimistic about Ye Fei. From this young man, Victor saw some qualities that were not found in Night City. So he still wanted to persuade the young man. Old Wei, I know what you want to say, but I have the confidence to take them through this test. Ye Fei smiled, revealing confidence between the lines. Well, since you said that, I don't want to say so much anymore, so as not to bore you. But since you plan to do it, then you will make a mess. Don't be a wimp. Victor said, the meaning behind the words is that Ye Fei and the others have a high probability of dying in the Cyan by building. Don't worry, Lao Wei. If we go out, we must make the biggest noise. At this time, Jack, who was lying on a hospital bed and had recovered, shouted, you'd better save yourself. When Misty knows what you're going to do, she will have to skin you. When Victor heard Jack's words, he rolled his eyes at Jack and said, I don't know if watching Saburo Arata's curtain call will be exciting enough. Ye Fei said in his heart, Afternoon Afterlife Bar, this is an unusual place. It used to be a morgue here, but Rod took a fancy to it and transformed it into a bar. Of course, it was not completely renovated. People who entered the bar could see some medical equipment that can be seen everywhere, as well as those who soaked in 4 Marlin people. You know, Ye Fei, although we have done many big orders before, but only when we really set foot here can we feel like a big shot. When Jack walked into the Liesheng bar, he couldn't help talking to Ye Fei a little excitedly. The boss here, Rog, is the real top middleman in Night City. We mercenaries call him the heart of Night City. Every big deal here needs Rog's nod to make a deal. Jack's mouth was still chattering like that. Ye Fei and the others sat at the bar of the bar. When the bartender Claire saw Ye Fei and the others, he walked up to their seats and said, Would you like something to drink? Jack, girl, give me an old-fashioned tequila with some beer and chili. Ye Fei, I'll have a drink too. David, just have a beer. V, me and Lucy both want a glass of whiskey. The bartender Claire glanced at Jack and said, The taste is good. 2 glasses of Johnny Silverhands. After talking to another bartender next to him, he turned around to serve others. Why is the name of the drink that Jack just ordered called Johnny Silverhand? David was a little confused. You don't know this. The coolest thing about the afterlife is that you will name the wine after the guest. This is a feature of the afterlife. But if you want your wine to really be named after the afterlife, you have to be a legend. Of course, the legends of Night City are dead. As soon as Jack finished speaking, Claire put 2 glasses of wine in front of Ye Fei and Jack. It seems that you all have a good understanding of the past life. How about it? Do you want to name the wine with your own name? But if you want to name the wine, you have to die first, and you will die vigorously. That's right, this is so cool. I want to save a recipe for myself here, girl. Can you say my recipe? Jack asked Claire. Tell me. My name is Jack Wells, and my recipe is vodka over ice, a little lime juice and ginger beer, and a little love at the end. In the end, Jack was a bit skinny. Ha. Okay, I'll make a note of it. Claire actually took out a notepad and wrote Jack's formula on it. Is this handsome guy interested in leaving a recipe? After memorizing Jack's recipe, Claire asked Ye Fei, Me? I won't die. I'll be a living legend. Ye Fei replied with a smile. Claire didn't refute it either. Anyway, in the next life, every mercenary said that she would become a legend, and her ears were already ringing. But most of it is just bragging. It's just that if Claire knew what kind of commission Ye Fei and the others were working on, she probably wouldn't think that Ye Fei was bragging. Chapter 62 preparations. Dexter, Sean's driver and part-time bodyguard, had already walked to Ye Fei's side at this time. Our boss's side is ready. You can go in now. Hearing this, Ye Fei drank the wine in his hand and stood up. And Jack and V also followed Ye Fei in a box. Walking into the box, I saw Dexter leaning on the sofa, smoking a cigar and puffing away. Sitting next to him was a woman in black customer service, which Ye Fei recognized immediately. Bug. Hey, Mr. Yi, you are finally here. I didn't expect that there are quite a lot of people in your team. Although Dexter already knew how many people were in Ye Fei's team, he was still a little surprised to see that Ye Fei had brought them all. Mr. Dexter, I think we can get straight to talking about operations. Ye Fei didn't pay attention to Dexter's words and said straight to the point. Cheer up, Mr. Yi. I need to introduce you. This is the top hacker in Bug Night City. I don't think the hackers in your team are as good as Mistbug. After finishing speaking, Dexter took a look at Lucy and V who were following Ye Fei and was a little surprised. Although he had seen it in the photos, he was still shocked by that color when he saw the real person. The value is amazing. Of course, he quickly withdrew his gaze. He wasn't sure if Lucy and V were Ye Fei's women. And his purpose for letting Bug come is also obvious. After all, this mission is very important, but the people who acted are all Ye Fei's subordinates, which made Dexter have to be careful. I think Miss Bug should be on the same level as Lucy, and the two of them can work together. Of course, Ye Fei knew what Dexter meant, but Ye Fei would not accept that Bug should be responsible for their personal safety. So he took a compromise plan and asked Bug and Lucy to work together. Having two top hackers to break into the system is also a lot easier. Hearing this, Bug became a little dissatisfied. She is one of the top hackers in Night City. Even if she is a member of the Voodoo Gang, as long as it is not their boss, she is basically not afraid of anyone. Now this little girl brought by Ye Fei, who looks less than 20, is said by him to be on par with his own skills. But she didn't say anything, after all. As long as Dexter had no objection, she didn't bother to care. Anyway, Dexter was the one who paid. Okay, come on, Mr. Yi, you insert this chip first. Dexter handed Ye Fei a chip, and Ye Fei also took it and inserted it directly into the slot. I have arranged the identities of the four of you. The arms dealers of military technology go to discuss business with them. The goods are the small flat heads in your hands. Speaking of which, Dexter took a look at Ye Fei. Ye Fei gave David a wink, and David put the suitcase in his hand on the table and opened it to reveal a small robot. Miss TBUG and Miss Lucy will help you break through the subnetwork of Cyberpunk building and control their surveillance system, so that you will have time to go to Arbin Laishuan's room and take the relic chip. When you get to the hotel, release Xiaoping first, and this Miss Lucy and I will hack into the network of Cyan by building to control their monitoring system, and then use Xiaoping to solve their waste board hacking. You guys are no different from shopping in the Yimby building. After TBUG finished speaking, he glanced at Lucy, and he seemed very relaxed inside and outside the words. Then we got the chip. Where do we meet? Ye Fei asked. I've already made arrangements. If everything goes well, we'll drink and celebrate here. If something goes wrong, Delaman will take you to find me. Dexter replied after taking a puff on his cigar. Sure. Dexter, you are really rich, and you are willing to rent a Delaman taxi. Jack heard Dexter say that Delaman knew their car for this mission. These are small money. I ordered the best set meal for you. Don't let me down. Dexter said somewhat proudly. I want to ask how long it will take to get the money after we get the chip. David asked. Dexter glanced at David, although he didn't want to explain to the little kid, but he still replied for Ye Fei's sake. It depends on our employer when she can sell the chip when we get it to the money. Hearing this, Ye Fei couldn't help but sneered and said, You still get the money? Wait until you steal the chip. Even if Saburo Arba doesn't die, he will be hunted down by Arba in 3 days. Not to mention the money, his life will be lost. Throw it away. Mr. Yi, I have finished speaking. Do you have any questions? Dexter said. Mr. Dexter, you need to set an additional item on your Delaman taxi. After the people in the car are injured, they must be sent to the clinic first. Ye Fei makes no secret of his thoughts, and that's what matters. Although Ye Fei is confident that he can protect his companions, there will always be some variables, and he will not gamble. The expression on Dexter's face froze when he heard this. He didn't expect Ye Fei, a mercenary, to think of such a thing. But now that things have come to this point, all aspects of the operation have been almost done, and there is no way to change people. Okay, Mr. Yi, I will give Delaman this instruction. Your suits are also ready. You can go and change them. Hearing this, Ye Fei stood up, picked up the clothes on the table, took Jack and the four of them to change. After a few minutes, TSK, I didn't expect that Jack Wells, would be able to dress like a company dog one day. Jack looked at the suit on his body and sighed. David didn't respond at all. The school uniform of Arbon Academy was similar to this one. V's side is different. She looks like an urban elite white-collar woman when she wears it. Maybe it's because V still has the option of being a company employee. Hey, sister, you are really beautiful in this dress. Yes, Miss V looks really good looking. Both David and Jack praised again and again. And V glanced at Ye Fei. Well, yes, very beautiful. If you were a rich daughter, I wouldn't doubt it at all. Hearing Ye Fei's words, V finally smiled. Chapter 63 Adaptive. Wow, Mr. Yi, you and MS. V really look like people from the company in suits. Mr. David's suits don't feel out of place at all. Mr. Jack is not bad. Dexter also praised the few people who had changed their clothes. Dex, what do you mean I don't look like a company person? Jack said with some dissatisfaction. He admitted that although he didn't have the good appearance of Ye Fei and V, but he didn't even have an adjective. Well, Jack, we're not here for fun. Ye Fei turned around and said something, then looked at Dexter again. Mr. Yi, we will contact you after you enter the room in the Cyanbai building. Of course, we will use our own channel. The public phone channel cannot be used. There are network monitoring hackers in the Cyanbai building who can monitor our conversation. Dexter said. Ye Fei nodded in agreement. To be honest, if he were to do this job alone, Ye Fei probably would have just punched him without bringing anything. Then I will use a sentence from Huangban to wish you all. I wish you success and return in triumph. At this time, Dexter did not forget to show off the words he learned overnight. You for the taxi is already waiting outside, and I have changed the procedure. As long as someone is seriously injured, Delaman will take you to the clinic. Lucy and Tbug each went to their own hacking rooms. After walking out of the box, Ye Fei and the others were waiting for Delaman's car at the door. Ye Fei, you said, what if Dexter hadn't modified the program? Jack asked with some concern, although he was so ambitious before he came. But in fact, he was also frightened. After all, they were going to steal Huangban Laishuan's things this time. Although there is no intention of retreating, there is still some timidity in my heart. The same is true for David, but now he is only nervous and can't say anything more. V felt that with Ye Fei around, the situation shouldn't be too bad. It doesn't matter whether I change it or not. Anyway, after I get in the car, they won't be able to control everything. Ye Fei shook his head. He wouldn't believe Dexter's nonsense. After waiting for about 5 minutes, the Delaman taxi drove up to them. Ye Fei and the others got into the car. And after they got in the car, someone who was drinking a drink at the door of the Afterlife bar made a phone call. Boss, they're all in the car. Well, that's fine. It's all right now. Dexter hung up the phone after hearing the answer he wanted, and then waited here silently. Of course, he didn't change Delaman's program. Hey, is this the best taxi in Night City? TSK, TSK, TSK. I didn't expect that Jack Wells, would be able to enjoy this kind of treatment one day. Jack touched the low-key, but not lacking in luxury interior in the car inside. David was pretty much the same. Ye Fei shook his head and invaded Delaman's system as soon as his eyes lit up. Ding! Detected. As soon as Delaman wanted to raise the alarm, he was completely controlled by Ye Fei. Modify package and service object. Under revision, the package has been changed to the Emperor Travel Package. The privileges of the package include a one-day free tour of Night City. Delaman will escort you all the way, and in dangerous situations, Delaman will use all weapons to eliminate those who threaten you. Any threat to the life of the person who threatened the person or the passengers in the car will be considered by Delaman as the most important bottom line. Damn it, Ye Fei awesome. The Emperor's Travel Package, no matter how it sounds, is much better than excellence. Hearing Delaman's feedback, Jack gave Ye Fei a thumbs up. However, I'm a little curious. If the opponent is from the Arba group, will your car still protect us? The safety of passengers in the car is our most important mission. Delaman enjoys special laws and regulations in Night City. Anyone who threatens the safety of passengers will not be allowed by us. Delaman's mechanical sound came again. TSK, TSK, TSK. The person who can make Delaman is not an ordinary person. Jack heard Delaman's answer. Okay, Delaman is only responsible for the safety of our lives after we get in the car, and he will not take the initiative to help you fight the cyan by building. Ye Fei said, "This vote is our battle for fame, and each of us is a legend after we finish it." At this time, Ye Fei also received a communication request from Lucy and Tbug. Of course, Lucy got connected directly, and Tbug needed permission from Ye Fei. "Tbug, can you hear me?" Ye Fei. Ye Fei. "Yes." "Lucy, is the communication clear?" Ye Fei. "It's not clear anymore." "Okay. All you have to do is check into the room we reserved after you arrive at the Cyanbai building, and let Xiaoping 2 out, and then I can turn the hotel's monitoring system into a waste. At that time, when you go to Arbin Laishuan's room, it will be the same as going to your own home. As long as you get the relic to evacuate safely, our ticket will be over." Tbug talked a lot, but Lucy didn't care too much anyway. She would just invade directly when the time came, and Ye Fei also wrote an anti-criminal program for her. Even the group of perverted hackers in the network monitoring cannot break through this program. Ye Fei's access to the background program of network monitoring these days is almost like drinking water. "No problem." Ye Fei nodded. To be honest, Tbug's plan sounds exactly the same as in the game, and there is nothing wrong with it. It's a pity that at this time, Laishian Arida and Saburo Arida would quarrel in Laishian Arada's room in the Combi building, and the news that Saburo Arida had come to Night City was tightly blocked. Due to the unequal information, Tbug also didn't know that the network security system of the Cyanbai building was also replaced by hackers who were no worse than the network monitoring group. The location of Tbug was also quickly found and killed by the people of Arba Group. Dexter also couldn't get away from this reason, so he was thinking about killing V and fleeing Night City. Ye Fei closed his eyes and rested in the car. Jack kept talking about his own experiences with David in the car, as if he wanted one more person to know his life. Ye Fei is also thinking about whether to save Tbug. To be honest, she is a relatively reliable hacker in the game, and even after knowing Saburo Arida was killed, she did not give up on V and Jack to escape immediately. It was because he continued to help V and Jack invade the roof door that he was quickly found and killed. Blocking Tbug's communication, Jack also felt that their connection with Tbug was disconnected by Ye Fei and asked in some surprise, "Ye Fei, what's going on? I have a feeling that today's vote will be much bigger than we imagined." Chapter 64, Is This the Life of the Rich? So what? I only do big ones, and I don't want to do small ones. Seeing that Jack was obviously nervous, but still wanted to clear up the atmosphere for several people in the car, Ye Fei found it quite interesting. Ye Fei and the others quickly arrived at the gate of Cyanbai building. Jack followed Ye Fei with a suitcase with a flat head, and their weapons were all placed in the Delaman taxi. Ye Fei and V looked like the kind of company elites in their clothes. Although David was young, he was worthy of being a company employee, but Jack followed them like a bodyguard for several people. As soon as Ye Fei entered the door, he saw the extremely luxurious decoration of the Cyanbai mansion. Can it be said that it is indeed one of the special residences with a plate or the best hotel in Night City? A few people quickly walked to the hotel scanners. Ye Fei was full of original goods, so there was no need to worry. Although David and V had prosthetic bodies, they did not trigger the alarm. And when Jack passed by with the box, the scanning door sounded the alarm. Alert! Someone is carrying a weapon. The security guard touched his waist cautiously, but still said in a gentle tone, "Sir, why do you want to bring a small combat robot?" "We are here to discuss business with Mr. Takikawa. This combat robot is a sample we brought to Mr. Takikawa. Do you need me to open it for you to have a look?" Ye Fei replied arrogantly. "That looks very much like someone who came out of the company." The security guard was taken aback for a moment, and then took out the walkie-talkie to confirm, and then another manager in the hotel lobby also realized that Takikawa had indeed told him that someone would look for him this morning and that he would be armed. "I'm very sorry. Our security didn't know that you were Takikawa-san's guests. I'm very sorry. This is our negligence." The attitude of the lobby manager is very low. We're here to discuss business. I hope Mr. Takikawa can say hello in advance next time. Otherwise, it's not like we can't consider other companies." Ye Fei said in a somewhat unreasonable way. Yes, you are right. We will definitely reflect on our mistakes." The lobby manager was not angry. He was professionally trained, but said in a very low voice. Seeing this, Ye Fei also walked to the counter of the hotel with a few people. Arriving here, the decoration of the hotel is different from the facade. The neon-style decoration and antiques are displayed everywhere. The receptionist at the front desk was a golden intelligent robot and bowed to Ye Fei in a standard way. Double a few watts for you, and welcomed several distinguished guests to the Cyberpunk Hotel. We're here to discuss business with Mr. Takikawa, so let's check in first. Ye Fei said with a straight posture, and the three people behind Ye Fei also had a high profile. Before getting out of the car, Ye Fei had told them not to speak too smugly, otherwise they would definitely be suspected. The intelligent robot at the front desk said, "Okay, please wait a moment, and I will check it for you first. May I ask what your reserve name is?" "Victorino. The room for 4 people is the Lapis Lazuli suite for 4 people. Please place your hand here to scan it, and the gentlemen and ladies in the back also please scan it." After Ye Fei and the others put their hands on the scanner's scan, the intelligent robot raised its head and said to Ye Fei, "Then, sir, I will notify Takikawa-san for you now." "No, we just took a 10-hour flight from Barcelona, and we need to take a good rest before we can talk about business, and then upgrade me to a suite. I want the best quadruple room." Ye Fei refused at this time, and then took out a bank chip and handed it to the robot. "Okay, your suite has been upgraded, but Takikawa-san has been waiting for several gentlemen in the conference room for several hours, isn't it?" The robot turned out that the bank chip upgraded the suites for Ye Fei and the others, and then asked hesitantly, "No, we will contact the doctor after we rest." Ye Fei waved his hand and then took Jack and the others to the elevator. After entering the elevator, Jack's whole person changed back to the temperament of a street gangster before. "I'm going, Ye Fei, the way you look just now is really similar to the senior management of those companies. I almost thought we were really here to discuss business." "That's right, Brother Yi. Your momentum just now is stronger than that of the dean of our college," David said with a sigh at this time. "Ye Fei, did you secretly work in the company without telling me?" V said jokingly. "Come on, it was just acting just now, but my acting skills are better. I seem to have fooled you all into it." Ye Fei also responded with a smile. He still prefers this relaxed feeling. "This feeling is really exciting. We are like a group of adventurers going to steal a treasure in Arbin Laishuan's room. It's really cool. Keep this kind of attitude. You need this kind of attitude to accomplish great things." Ye Fei said, "But don't be too excited. The real legends do things silently, and then let the world test the process to eliminate the myth." "Ye Fei, what you said makes sense. Brother Yi is really right." David and Jack also flattered, although Ye Fei didn't care about this kind of flattery. But it was also the recognition of his partner. Ye Fei was quite happy. The elevator soon arrived at the luxurious 4-person suite that Ye Fei had booked. After entering the room, Ye Fei unlocked the communication shield with Bug. "Bug, Lucy, we've already checked into the hotel. Let's let the crew out now," Ye Fei said to the 2 people who communicated. "Okay." X2, after hearing Ye Fei's words, Lucy and Bug also started to hack into the hotel system. David and Jack were shocked by the interior of the room. It can only be said that it is the most luxurious quadruple room in the best hotel in Night City. All the furniture and decoration are the best products of the Arba Group, and there is a waterproof high-end projector in the center of the coffee table. There are also some precious bonsai placed in the room. These are not a small expense. "Hello from Lee. Tisk TSK. Rich people still enjoy it." Jack sighed. If it wasn't for their urgent task, he would definitely enjoy sun here for a night. Although David had seen patches of green plants in Arbin Academy, they were not better than the ones in front of him. So he nodded again and again when he heard Jack's words. Jack and David stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows, which was already one of the tallest and best views of the Cyberpunk building, basically overlooking all the buildings in Night City. You can't see those neon lights that are feasting and feasting. Those bright lights are all below. It looks like countless light spots are serialized together. Looking up, you can see the sky that they usually can't see when you look up. On the bottom of Night City, you can only see countless high-rise buildings and light rail. When you go to some top floors, you can only see the buildings of big companies, and they're flying in the sky. Floating car. Haha. We have also experienced the life of a rich man. Jack looked down and sighed. Chapter 65, it's time to get the goods, Jack. David, we won't be mercenaries all our lives, and it's only a matter of time before we become rich. Ye Fei looked at the two people who were looking at the scenery below in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows and said, "It's true, we may have enough to eat and drink after finishing this vote." Jack also sighed when he heard Ye Fei's words. Ye Fei didn't answer, but took out his flat head. "Ye Fei, are we going to lie cheese room now?" When Jack saw Ye Fei take out his small crew cut, he thought he was going to work now. "No, it will take some time for me and Lucy to break through the network. During this time, you can take a good rest in your room." The voice of Tbug came, and she was busy finding the network loopholes in the cyan by building at this time, while Lucy was silent working. In her opinion, the sooner she breaks through the network system of cyan by building, Ye Fei and their mission will be completed faster, and the safer Ye Fei will be. So she has no intention of chatting now. Great. When I came in, I wanted to experience this big bed. Jack threw himself on the bed in the room when he heard Tbug's words. The same goes for David, and the two heartless fell asleep in bed in no time. Ye Fei was sitting on the sofa, and V just sat beside him. "Ye Fei, promise me that no matter what the situation is, you will take good care of your own interests." What V said made Ye Fei tremble. "Don't worry, V. Don't you know my skills?" Ye Fei said the standard words again. "I know you are amazing, but I also want you to promise me." V's eyes are firm, and his expression is serious. "It is good." Ye Fei didn't say much this time, only answered with one word. Seeing the pretty face so close at hand, Ye Fei directly ate up. V didn't refuse, but responded with some jerk. She remembered the same thing as when she was holding Ye Fei and sitting in the field when she was 16 years old. While Ye Fei and the others were resting in the hotel, 10 huge airplanes were flying towards Night City at an extremely fast speed over the Pacific Ocean. This is Saburo Arama's exclusive car. In the aircraft, an old man who looks a little thin but full of energy is looking at the tablet in his hand. Standing beside him was a man who didn't look very strong but had a strong aura. Goro, Saburo Arada, put the tablet on the table, hammered his neck with his hand, and said, "Master Saburo." Goro Takemura squatted beside Saburo Arada with a very respectful expression. "Look at this report." Saburo Arada pointed to the tablet on the table and said, "Yes." Goro Takemura picked up the tablet on the table immediately after hearing what Saburo Arada said. After a few minutes, "Goro, what do you think?" "Master Saburo, I think this report is purely deceiving you. There is no need for you to go to Night City by yourself. It is not safe for you." Takemura Goro put the tablet in his hand on the table and expressed his analysis. The tablet on the table contained all Ye Fei's information, including all the reports he had received since he entered Night City. "Hee. I also think this matter is unlikely. I didn't install the prosthetic body, but the strength of the body is actually stronger than the uprising body. By the way, have you confirmed it with Lai Xian?" Saburo Arada shook his head and said, but his eyes were fixed on the flat eyes on the table, full of greed and longing. The shareholders of the Night City headquarters have always thought that Master Lai Xian is too radical. Many projects in the Arbin Group's hands have been sold to Kong Tao in military technology, and most of our eyeliners in the group have been eliminated by Master Lai Xian. Takemura Goro replied blankly, although it was the report of Lai Xian, the anti-waste board, but he, Takemura Goro, was only loyal to Arada Saburo. That's all. Well, it seems that the experience of the past few years did not make this guy reflect, but it was a very wrong decision. Saburo Arada said in a tone of hating iron, but not steel. "Master Sanlang, Master Lai Xian must have made these decisions in a moment of confusion. I believe he also wanted to make these decisions for the development of the group. He, my son, I know him too well. I was eager to prove myself and did a series of stupid things. Even if the people under him are capable, he is not willing to listen to his opinions. I am more promising than him in giving birth to a piece of barbecued pork. If possible, I would rather Goro, you are my son." Arama Saburo's words made Takemura Goro terrified and said, "Master Saburo, please don't say these words, and Master Lai Lei will become your excellent successor in 10 walks in the future. Asking for flowers. I hope so." Saburo Arita chuckled and picked up the tablet on the table to look at it again. 2 hours later, Ye Fei, Lucy, and I have broken through the network defense system of the Arasaka building, and you can start to act. Bug's voice came, and V quickly lifted his head against Ye Fei's shoulder. Ahem, I see. Ye Fei also tidied up her somewhat messy collar and responded. Walking to the bedside of David and Jack, he reached out and shook them. Wake up, David, Jack, it's time to get up and get the goods. Hearing Ye Fei's words, Jack's loud snoring stopped, and he looked around in a daze. Go work? Okay. Jack patted his cheek and woke up immediately. So is David. You two really slept like hell. Ye Fei was a little speechless. When he first came in, he was so nervous that he was dying, but he fell asleep while lying on the bed. I don't know what to say. Small matter, small matter. Aren't we already sober? Jack said with a silly smile. After Jack and David were ready, the four of them walked to the elevator. After entering the elevator, Ye Fei first scanned the surveillance probe inside, and when he saw that it was in friendly mode, Ye Fei nodded. Bug and Lucy's abilities are pretty good, so Ye Fei shouldn't be needed right now. Soon the elevator arrived at Arasaka Yoshinobu's room. Walking in and observing the surroundings, Ye Fei found that except for a little more decorations, there was nothing different from the game. Ye Fei, I will open the safe freezer with a relic chip for you now. After you go and get him, leave Arasaka Rei's room quickly. Bug is very nervous now. Can you not be nervous? They are stealing things in the room of the prince of the Arasaka Empire. Well, Jack, where are you going to get something? I'll find something that works. Ye Fei nodded and directed. Chapter 66 recording video. Jack went to the wooden floor by the window and fumbled for a while, found the switch, and pressed it lightly, and the safe freezer slowly rose. Jack, use this chip to open the safe. At this time, Ye Fei had already got the unlocking chip from Lai Xian Arasaka's bedside and threw it to Jack, holding a pistol with an unusual pattern in his hand. That's one of Arasaka's favorite weapons, the King Kong, and it's a very good kinetic pistol. It was only when Ye Fei held it in his hand that he felt the extraordinariness of this pistol. It looked like metal, but it was more like holding leather in his hand. Jack had already opened the safety freezer at this time, and a thermostatic suitcase with the relic chip appeared in front of Jack's eyes. Baby, I finally found you, Jack muttered to himself. At this time, a large group of flying hovercraft appeared outside the hotel, surrounded by a 730 pure black hovercraft. Ye Fei, it's not good. Now, Arasaka Rai-san is going to the top floor room with Adam Heavy Hammer. Bug looked at Adam Heavy Hammer and Arasaka Yoshinobu in the elevator in the surveillance screen and said in a panic, FK, why is this kid back at this time? Jack panicked when he heard Bug's words. Brother Yi, what should we do now? David also looked at Ye Fei in a panic and said. Ye Fei had already opened the TV inspection shaft next to him and said to the three of Jack, hide in here. Quick. The four of them quickly got into the inspection well. Due to the limited space inside, Ye Fei and V were almost standing next to each other. It looks like V is snuggled up against Ye Fei's chest, and David and Jack are barely squeezed together. After several people hid, the elevator door opened. Arasaka Lai Xian walked into the room with a very, very irritable expression on his face, and beside him was Adam Hammer, who had been transformed to only 4% of his body. FK, why did this dead old man come to Night City at this time? Arasaka Lai Xian was clearly on the verge of going berserk. Almost. He's so close to accomplishing his goal. Just give him time. And beside Raisaka Arasaka, Adam Hammer, who has been transformed into a prosthetic body and mechanized, looks very violent and terrifying. Unlike Jack's prosthetic body, Adam Hammer basically gave up the appearance of a normal human being, and his whole body is covered with metallized mechanical bodies. Armed from head to toe, it can't be more suitable to describe Adam Hammer. FK, Adam Hammer. This is the only living legend in Night City. Jack couldn't help but swear when he saw Adam's hammer. David was too nervous to speak. Ye Fei, how far is it now? V is also a little nervous, but with Ye Fei around, he can remain calm. Let's see, and see when Arasaka Yoshinobu will leave. Ye Fei comforted. He couldn't say that Saburo Arasaka would come later, That would be too scary. Arasaka Lai Xian sat on the sofa and poured himself a glass of wine, and then drank it all in one gulp. Looking at his constantly shaking legs, he knew that he was also extremely nervous now. Adam Heavy Hammer is standing beside Arasaka Rai-san. As the dedicated mercenary of the Arasaka group, Adam Heavy Hammer has received the support of various weapon prosthetics from the Arasaka group. He only needs to show up when the Huangban group needs him. No matter how the account is calculated, it is a good deal. Within a few minutes, two figures slowly walked down from the attic on the roof. When Arasaka Lai Xian saw the somewhat hunched figure, he quickly stood up, and the irritability on his face disappeared all of a sudden. Even if he was complaining, he didn't dare to make too many mistakes in front of Arasaka Saburo. "Damn! Saburo Arasaka!" X2 David and Jack exclaimed softly at the same time. When the father and son met, it didn't feel tense, but like a pair of ordinary father and son. Takemura Goro nodded to Arasaka Yoshinobu, and then turned on the scanning function of his prosthetic eye. When he scanned the screen, Saburo Arasaka made a sound. "Goro, this is my son. What do you mean by that?" Saburo Arasaka's voice was very calm. Hearing this, Goro Takemura immediately stopped scanning and bowed to Saburo Arasaka. "I'm sorry, Mr. Saburo. I just want to confirm the surrounding environment." Then he stood next to Arasaka Saburo, without even looking at Adam Heavy Hammer, who was beside Arasaka Yoshinobu. "Holy crap, I thought we were going to be discovered. It's so FG exciting." Jack was already sweating profusely at this time, and so was David. "Dex, UBD, how come you can't even figure out that Arasaka Saburo is coming today?" V also cursed softly. It's fine that Arasaka Yoshinobu appeared here. And now, even the Emperor Arasaka Saburo of the Arasaka Empire appeared here, which was completely beyond their imagination. "Stop talking. Adam Hammer is outside. If you don't want to be crushed by him, calm down first." Ye Fei said. Arasaka Saburo is old, but his aura is very strong. On the other hand, Arasaka Yoshinobu, although he is still young, his mental state and aura are not as strong as Arasaka-san. "A bit of shadow. Why did you come here? Didn't you agree that I will manage Night City in the future?" Arasaka Reinobu said angrily. He was going to completely control the Arasaka branch of Night City, but the arrival of Saburo Arasaka made the situation confusing again. "Hee, you are already going to sell Huangcheng Group's last territory in America to those barbarians in the West. If I don't come to the company, I will lose the interests of America," Saburo Arasaka said very flatly. "Next, we will have a conversation between father and son. You two should go down first." Arasaka Saburo took a look at Takemura Goro and Adam Heavy Hammer. When his real boss spoke, Adam Heavy Hammer turned his head and left. The conflict between the Arasaka father and son had nothing to do with him, so he didn't bother to care so much. Goro Takemura said hello to Saburo Arasaka and followed Adam Heavy Hammer into the elevator. "I really can't believe that I gave birth to such an evil as you." Waiting until 1.4 after Takemura Goro and the two left, Saburo Arasaka slowly shook his head and said, "Hey, it's time to start." As Ye Fei spoke, he turned on the ultra-miniature video camera, he put on his body, and started recording. "I am in charge of the strategy of Night City, and I don't need you to dictate." Hearing Arasaka Saburo's words, Arasaka Yoshinobu said angrily, "Lai Xian, you're my son. That's why I hand over such an important America as Night City to you." Arasaka Saburo shook his head first, then looked at Arasaka Lai Xian with sharp eyes and said, "But since you, after coming to Night City, not only handed over all the company's projects, but also dismissed all capable people in the company, this is simply nonsense." Speaking of this, Arasaka Saburo hit the ground a few times hard with his crutches. Chapter 67. Showdown with Lai Xian Arabata. "You old man, your method is no longer feasible, and the situation in the world is changing every minute. Night City is no longer monolithic. If we can't come up with new things, it will be a waste of money. The group will be eliminated sooner or later." Arita Lai Xian pointed to Arita Saburo's nose, and even called Arita Saburo a dead old man. "Is this the excuse you gave your mediocrity and incompetence?" You really disappointed me. Just because of these, you still want to sell the company's Soul Killer to military technology. Don't you know that Soul Killer has multiple either? Saburo Arabata coughed violently a few times when he said that. Obviously, he was irritated by Lai Xian Arabata's faint move. Araban Lai Xian is really a brain dead. Ye Fei shook his head. You must know that for this Soul Killer, Huangban Lai Xian did not hesitate to kidnap Johnny Silverhand's girlfriend Otto Cunningham, mastered the Soul Killer, and also attracted the combination of Johnny Silverhand and military technology. Attack. Finally, with the help of the Soul Killer, Saburo Arata gained a foothold in Night City, the last stronghold in America. Now Huangban Lai Xian actually wants to hand over this big killer to military technology? This is simply too stupid to be stupid. Even if you're dissatisfied with me, you must not betray your 12 family. We don't need to be too afraid of those barbarians in the West. Our real enemy is in Huagua on the other side of the ocean. It is Kong Tao, Saburo Arata said. It is precisely because of this that their Huangban group needs the stronghold of Night City to penetrate into the heart of military technology. Otherwise, when he and Kong Tao start a war, there is no guarantee that military technology will strike them deadly in the back. It turns out that Saburo Arata has never set his eyes on this side, and their goal has always been Huagua. Ye Fei's pupils shrank, and then he became angry. Unexpectedly, the neon in this world is still undecided. Although he is not a cynic, he has also received the red bath and baptism in his previous life. Faced with this kind of thought, Ye Fei wanted to rush out and kill Saburo Arata immediately. That's enough. I don't need you to control me. In Night City, I'm a master here. You still feel like going back to Tokyo. Anyway, you have to tell me what I do. After listening to Saburo Arama's words, Lai Xian Arabata began to react, but now he can't control so much at all. Even if he is wrong, he will be wrong to the end. The angry Huangban Lai Xian smashed all the things that could be smashed in the room, and even threw 2 wine bottles at the TV screen, scaring Jack and David. Fortunately, the brand of the TV screen seems to be made by Kong Tao, so there's no wear and tear. I'm really sad for you like this. If your mother is still alive, I would rather see you like this. I don't want to see her disappointed, Saburo Arata said with a bit of hatred for iron. Arama Lai Xian was still smashing things in the room, but when she heard what Araba Saburo said, her eyes turned red all of a sudden. You are not allowed to mention your mother. You are not worthy at all. Arita Lai Xian yelled hysterically, and then both hands ruthlessly pinched Arita Saburo's neck. How could Arama Saburo, who is already more than 100 years old, be the opponent of Araba Lai Xian, who is in his prime? During this period, Ye Fei recklessly gave Arama Lai Xian a close-up of the camera, recording in detail the expressions on Araba Lai Xian and Araba Lai Xuan's faces. After about 2 minutes, Saburo Arama died in front of Ye Fei and the others without too much struggle and resistance. Of course, it's across the screen. Arama Lai Xian, who had finished all this, was laid out on the ground. Looking at Arama Saburo, who had fallen on the ground and was already lifeless, various emotions began to appear on Araba Lai Xuan's face. There is fear, there is regret, there is joy, and there is a sense of relief. This picture of a loving father and filial son was clearly captured by Ye Fei. Arabata Lai Xian had just stood up and was about to contact Goro Takemura when she heard the sound of the TV screen beating. Who is it? Araba Lai Xuan's already adjusted emotions lost control again. He didn't expect someone to be in his room. Doesn't that mean he saw it all happen? Ye Fei, Brother Yi. When Jack saw Ye Fei's actions, he immediately exploded, and David was also bombarded at the same time. Don't worry, I've already prepared. Ye Fei pointed to the tiny camera on his shoulder and said. Walking out of the TV inspection shaft, Araba Lai Xian finally saw who was coming. Who are you? Why are you in my room? As Araba Lai Xian said, she ran towards her bed. Are you looking for this gun? Ye Fei's fingers were turning to King Kong and said. Seeing this scene, Araba Lai Xuan's expression changed instantly. You murderer. You actually. Before Araba Lai Xian finished speaking, she saw Ye Fei pointing at the high-definition miniature camera on her shoulder. Do you want me to introduce you? The high-end micro camera produced by Kong Tao I remember the pixels are about the same as the human eye. Araba Lai Xian. As the prince of the Araba Empire. Oh no, he should be the quasi-emperor now. Presumably you don't want to get this video, either, or Michiko Arida, right? Ye Fei said with a smirk on his face. After hearing the two names, Ye Fei said, Araban Lai Xian immediately collapsed to the ground, holding her hair with both hands. Then he saw another scene that made him collapse even more. 3 more people walked out of the TV inspection well. In other words, for people witnessed the process of him killing Saburo Arida. What do you want to do? Araba Lai Xian also forcibly calmed down at this time and asked feebly as if her soul had been taken away. What I want to do? Arasaka Yoshinobu, the orthodox heir of the Arasaka Empire. For many years, you have been working hard to find a way to destroy the world led by the company. But after repeated failures, you realize that with your own strength, it cannot be defeated from the outside at all. So you came to Night City, and you want to use this place as your base to destroy the huge monster Arida group. The only ideal in your life is to save the world from the fear brought by his father. Am I right? Ye Fei's words made Huangban Lai Xian raise his head suddenly. His eyes were extremely horrified, but he never told anyone his true thoughts. Even if someone knew, then this person would not be Ye Fei. You, where did you hear that? Araban Lai Xian said. Maybe you were troubled because you killed Saburo Arida, but I want to tell you a fact. Saburo Arida is not dead. Ye Fei's words exploded in Araba Lai Xuan's head like a nuclear bomb. Chapter 68. Simply crazy. What are you talking about? My father. I was strangled to death in front of you. You have already recorded it. Are you kidding me? Arida Lai Xian was extremely angry. Although he hated Arama Saburo, he also respected Araba Saburo. He did not allow anyone to continue to make fun of him after his father died. Who said that the death of your father's body means that the person has died? You will not forget that you still have a miraculous child, right? Ye Fei's words were like a bright light that awakened Arban Lai Xian. You mean my father copied his own consciousness and uploaded it to Mikoto before he came here? Araba Lai Xian said in surprise. Before I tell you more information, I hope my companions can leave the Cyberpunk mansion safely. Ye Fei crossed his arms and said, You guys, I'll give you 5 minutes to leave the Cyberpunk building. Arban Lai Xian pointed to Jack and the others and said, Ye Fei. V has a worried look on his face. Don't worry about me, V. I'll go find you. I just have something to talk to the prince of the Huangban Empire. Ye Fei said with a relaxed face, and then took another look at Araban Lai Xian. Don't worry, I have already sent your video to our hackers. If something happens to my companions, then I don't need to live anymore. Ye Fei looked to Huangban Lai Xian with a very menacing expression in his eyes, looking like an ancient beast. Don't worry, I mean what I say. Hearing Ye Fei's words, Huangban Lai Xian cursed inwardly. Originally, he wanted to do something secretly. As a result, Ye Fei directly predicted all his operations, blocking all his paths. Jack, take David and V. I don't want to say it again, if you still think I'm your captain. Ye Fei said to Jack without looking back. Okay, we were waiting for you at the old place. You must come back. Jack gritted his teeth. Although he also wanted to stay and face everything that was about to happen with Ye Fei. But Ye Fei had already said so he could only choose to believe Ye Fei. A few minutes after Jack left, Ye Fei received a call from Jack. Ye Fei, we have left the Cyberpunk building now, so hurry up. Okay, now that the idlers have left, it's time for us to chat. Araban Lai Xian said. Arida Saburo has a plan, and that's the main reason why he came to you. Ye Fei talked for a few minutes to explain, and finally Araba Lai Xian said dubiously. That is to say, the purpose of my father's coming to me is to let me kill him, and then use my sister Huazi to bring me down, in the end, using my body to be reborn. Although this plan sounds nonsense, Araba Lai Xian is a person with relic chip research results, and knows that Ye Fei's words are completely achievable. Otherwise, why do you think your father would say something to irritate you over and over again? Ye Fei shrugged his shoulders. In his opinion, Araban Lai Xian is too naive. As the founder of Araba Group, one of the top 3 companies in the world, Araban Master Lang, how could he dare to fight with Araba without doing anything. Lai Xian alone in a room? Even if this person is his son, this old man. Araban Lai Xian gritted her teeth and said, after Ye Fei's words and analysis, Araban Lai Xian began to realize why her father's words today were so aggressive. You have done so many things. Shouldn't it be just to tell me these things? Araban Lai Xian looked at Ye Fei suspiciously and said, of course, I'm here to cooperate with you. Cooperation? Is it up to you? From Huangban Lai Xuan's point of view, although Ye Fei is very smart and knows a lot of inside information, he's just a guy who needs to look up to him and has no capital to cooperate with him at all. How about this? As Ye Fei said that, he raised the pistol King Kong belonging to Arban Lai Xian and fired a shot at Arban Lai Xian. Boom! Are you crazy? Araban Lai Xian was greatly frightened, touched her body with her hands, and finally felt a hot current on her face. And with the gunshot, the alarm sounded in Arban Lai Xuan's room instantly. Shots have been detected in Master Lai Xian's room. Cyberpunk building is now in emergency closed mode. Everyone please do not leave Cyberpunk building. If I can survive the hands of your wild people, I will contact you. And now, you can take the elevator and leave. Ye Fei's face is very calm. He will come with a big ticket this time, then give a warning to those who covet his power. Araban Lai Xian gritted his teeth. Now he suddenly felt that Ye Fei had the capital to cooperate with him, and if he showed his self-confidence without saying anything else, Araban Lai Xian was willing to give him a chance. Such a person is either a lunatic or a lunatic with real skills. You better survive. After saying this, Arban Lai Xian took the elevator and left the room on the top floor. Well now, I'll go get that saber first. Thinking about it, Ye Fei walked up to Saburo Arata's body and took out his dog tag, a floating car activation authorization card from him. Walking to the rooftop, two very strong bodyguards have already been on alert. The moment they saw Ye Fei, they opened fire violently. You invited me to eat peanuts when we first met? You are too enthusiastic. Ye Fei appeared behind the two in an instant and then threw them out of the rooftop one by one. What? The two of them were thrown from the 100-story building by Ye Fei. Araban Lai Xuan's room is 100. For this, I went to find the video and watched it again. Turning on the floating car, Ye Fei also took out Saburo Arama's favorite knife, Ju. The old man finally met again. Feeling that it looks extremely sharp, Ye Fei is also very impressed. When he played games in his previous life, he liked to play violent swordsman. This knife basically accompanied him from street soldiers to Adam's heavy hammer. Lord Lai Xian. What happened? After hearing the alarm on the rest floor, Takamura Goro rushed to the elevator and then saw Arban Lai Xian walking out of it with blood on his cheek. My father was killed. He almost killed me too. Arabata Lai Xuan's acting skills are really good. Takamura Goro didn't see any clues. What? Lord Saburo is dead. Takamura Goro immediately became frightened. Well done. And then his eyes were full of anger. I want to avenge Lord Saburo. Goro Takamura was about to get on the elevator after speaking. Takamura Goro, do you remember who you are loyal to? Arabata Lai Xuan's voice came and immediately pulled Takamura Goro back from the brink of losing control. I am loyal to the patriarch of the Arabata family. My father is dead, and now I'm the patriarch of the Arabata family. I ask you to protect me now. You need the patriarch Wu who is responsible for allegiance. Yes, patriarch Lai Xian. Goro Takamura bowed to Lai Xian Arabata. Heavy hammer. Go meet the assassin who killed my father. Araba Lai Xian was still displaying his acting skills, commanding Adam with red eyes. This is also the test of Huangban Lai Xian for Ye Fei. If he can't even pass Adam's heavy hammer, then Ye Fei doesn't have the capital to discuss cooperation with him. Huangban Lai Xian. Chapter 69, If You Are a Man. Go down 100 floors. At this time, Ye Fei had already reached the 70th floor, and with the knife of Arama Saburo in his hand, he had chopped off countless armed men of Arama. Stop! Stop him! No! It's impossible! Impossible! Okasan mother. Kill Ki'd help. Every time Ye Fei ran, he would kill several unarmed armed men. Under this kind of horrific killing, even those armed men who had experienced many battles couldn't help but feel frightened. In no time, Ye Fei killed all the more than 20 armed personnel on the 70th floor. He is now the same as the game he played with the children. If it is a man, it will go down 100 floors. He had used Saburo Arata's on no. Now his knife had cut at least 100 people, but the knife didn't even show a single cut. You must know that the armor of these armed personnel is also very heavy, as are some drones. TSK, TSK, TSK. It is indeed a sword that can last a century in the hands of Saburo Arama. It seems that Saburo Arama has put a lot of thought into you. As Ye Fei said, he took a piece of cloth that he didn't know who took it out and wiped the blade of Ju's knife until it shined. Then they took the next elevator and killed them layer by layer. The armed personnel who came here later were basically temporarily transferred from Huang 803 Banta. At least there were more than 1,000 people. In addition to the armed personnel of the Cyberpunk building, the number has reached more than 2,000 people. Ye Fei, on the other hand, forcibly started from Araba Laishuan's room from the 99th floor to the current 10th floor. Even the NCPD was alarmed and sent 5 terrorist mobile teams to suppress it, a total of 25 elite personnel, because each floor on duty is now independent and has no connection. So the people below have no idea that all the people above Ye Fei Bar have been killed, so they dare to resist vigorously. As for Araban Laishian, looking at the surveillance probe that had returned to normal, she had already vomited. The huge picture shows that as long as the floors Ye Fei passes by are their unscrupulous armed personnel, Ye Fei will kill them one by one. Even the drone Ye Fei pinned them to the wall with one punch and damaged it directly. And even Takemura Goro, who has been on the battlefield for a long time, couldn't help but start to have a bad reaction when he saw the bloody scene in the surveillance. He swore that even the cruelest battlefield and the scariest massacre scene would not be as terrifying as the current Cyberpunk mansion. As long as Ye Fei passed through the floors, none of their armed personnel was spared, and the stumped limbs and arms all over the floor foreshadowed what kind of hell scene they had experienced. The armed personnel of Huangban are all carefully selected fighters brought here by their own country, and even this kind of experienced fighters cannot resist Ye Fei. But Takemura Goro didn't know that today, more than 130 years ago, a city in Huagua experienced a massacre even more terrifying than Ye Fei's crazy killing. The people there are experiencing such a hell scene every day. Why doesn't Ye Fei leave a population? Maybe it was because of a little indignation in his heart. Maybe it was for revenge for those hundreds of thousands of people who died in vain. In short, Ye Fei just can't think rationally now, and now he just keeps waving the knife in his hand. Lord Lai Xian, I need to take you to evacuate Zubi building immediately. That guy has already reached the 9th floor. Lai Xian's lounge and monitoring room are both on the 1st floor of the Combi building, and now Ye Fei has reached the 9th floor. Although Takemura Goro wants to fight him desperately, his current mission is to protect the blood of Saburo Arama. Arabata Laishian evacuates the Cyberpunk building. Okay, let's go. Huangban Laishian can't care about the bet with Ye Fei now. He even thinks that Ye Fei is a lunatic suffering from cyberpsychosis. But this lunatic is too strong. In this way, when Ye Fei reached the 1st floor of the Cyberpunk building, the suit on his body was soaked even with Ye Fei's super speed. Of course, Ye Fei didn't shed a drop of sweat or blood here. He didn't kill the people in the violent mobile team, but just knocked them all unconscious. Although these people were recruited by cyber spirits, Seth, mentally ill, they were still barely guarding the poor in Night City. There is no need for Ye Fei to kill them. Phew, are you finally here? Ye Fei saw that there was no one around, and knew that besides the guests and normal staff in the hotel, he was the only living person in the Cyberpunk building. Almost that's it. As Ye Fei said, he put the sense in his hand into the scabbard and walked out of the Cyberpunk building slowly. And when Ye Fei walked down the steps at the door, a huge figure covered in mechanical prosthetics rushed out of the Cyberpunk building. Adam Hammer. Ye Fei's eyes lit up immediately. Originally, he thought that Adam Heavy Hammer should have followed Huangban Lai Xian out of the Cyberpunk building, but it turned out that he was still waiting for him here. It's quite capable, little bug. I want to see what kind of strange prosthetic body you have on your body. And you can walk out of the cyan by building alive. Every step of Adam's heavy hammer was very heavy, and every floor tile under his feet was broken into pieces by him. Bugs? Adam Heavy Hammer. Has your brain been turned into a pure robot by prosthesis? The last time he did, it was more than 60 years ago. No way. Ye Fei looked at Adam Heavy Hammer with a sneer on his face and said, while speaking, he put his eyes on a part of Adam Heavy Hammer that no longer existed. Bug, you will pay the worst price for what you say. Seeing Ye Fei express the pain in his heart, Adam Zonghammer immediately became angry. If his body hadn't been blown up by a few rockets during a certain mission, his dream and more than half of his body had been blown into powder, how could he have become the ghost he is now? You must know that Adam Heavy Hammer's favorite thing to do before a mission is to find a woman to vent his lust. And after that mission, Adam Heavy Hammer lost his body and sold his soul to Arbin Group to replace it with an extremely powerful mechanical body. Adam Heavy Hammer has also received countless mechanical transformations and prosthetic body enhancements from the Arbin Group in the past few decades. In the end, it turned into the current appearance of neither human nor ghost, and no relatives or friends survived in this world. This made his heart distorted and perverted. As long as a person who has not received the transformation is either a piece of rotten meat or a bug in his eyes. Before Ye Fei appeared, the last bug that Adam Heavy Hammer saw was Morgan Blackhand, a person who only accepted one-handed prosthetic body modification. Maybe there is a Johnny Silverhand? It's just that that guy is much weaker than Morgan Blackhand. Now Ye Fei is the second bug that appeared in his eyes. Now, the words of this bug directly aroused the anger of Adam Heavy Hammer. Chapter 70, with such little strength, did you not apply oil? Bug, I admit that you have completely irritated me. And do you know what will happen if you irritate me? The sound of Adam's heavy hammer is very sharp, perhaps because all the parts below his head have been replaced with machines. So although his voice has tried to imitate his original voice, however, due to the characteristics of the machine, it still doesn't sound like a sound that a person can make. On that ugly face, there was a violent and crazy smile. Why did Adam Heavy Hammer not suffer from cyberpsychosis? Perhaps it was because his perverted thoughts were all focused on installing prosthetic bodies and the sense of superiority brought to him by Arba Group. But now that the fig leaf was removed by Ye Fei, Adam's sanity was on the verge of collapse. On the other hand, Ye Fei has no other expression on his face except excitement. To be honest, he can still show this expression after facing Adam Hammer. There is no one else in Night City except Ye Fei. What the shit is doing in games and anime is simply outrageous. In the game, Johnny Silverhand was killed in 2022, Saul who was willing to accept and pay for V's life, Rog was killed, and the lively and lovely Rebecca was killed in the anime. And there's a lot of love, Righteous David. These are all enough for Ye Fei to kill 10,000 times. He didn't choose to draw the sword. Although the material of Saburo Arata's sword is very strong, it is possible to make an inch with it. This isn't a game after all. A large part of the reason he stayed was because he wanted to kill the damn beast. Adam Heavy Hammer walked up to Ye Fei step by step, and the two just stared at each other. Adam Heavy Hammer's prosthetic eyes were full of strange red light, and there was no hair on his head. Although it looked scary, it looked so funny in Ye Fei's eyes. Ye Fei didn't collapse all of a sudden. After all, seeing Adam's Heavy Hammer's face up close was a bit too funny. You're laughing at Nima. After Adam Heavy Hammer saw Ye Fei's expression, the mechanical hand swung towards Ye Fei fiercely. Boom! Ye Fei raised a hand to block the blow of Adam's Heavy Hammer. It can only be said that it is one of the ceilings of Cyberpunk carries combat power. This punch actually made Ye Fei feel a little bit. It seems that you still have two skills. Seeing Ye Fei receive the punch, Adam Heavy Hammer showed a hint of appreciation on his face, and he felt that he could enjoy the fun of fighting this time. Average, that is, the level of invincibility in this world. Ye Fei winked and said. His expression looked very awkward. But do you think it's over? Adam Hammer activates his fifth order Cyanvest Enrage. This prosthetic body can not only speed up people's speed, but also strengthen the user's limb strength to a certain extent. I don't know how many times stronger than David Sion Weinstein, who can only accelerate. After quickly making a detour behind Ye Fei, he should yank out a whip leg with a heavy hammer. Snapped. The terrifying force even caused a sonic boom. Boom! There was another loud bang, and Ye Fei exaggerated this time, taking Adam's heavy hammer's kick directly with 2 fingers. Did you not put some oil on your prosthetic body? The strength is so weak. Ye Fei said to Adam's heavy hammer. Impossible. Now Adam Heavy Hammer is no longer calm. If Ye Fei used one leg, or even one hand to force it, he will not be surprised. As a result, Ye Fei now took his kick with only 2 fingers. Are you crazy? Even a chariot will be kicked over by him this time. Right? Are you finished? Then it's my turn. After Ye Fei finished speaking, he imitated Adam's heavy hammer and pulled out a whip kick. But he didn't want to kick this guy to death with one kick, because every accessory on his body was worth a lot of money. Boom! Adam Heavy Hammer's abdomen suffered from Ye Fei's violent blow, and his whole body was thrown backwards. All of a sudden, Adam Heavy Hammer's body was kicked into a car, the kind of violent entry. Ahem. Is this the feeling of pain? I haven't felt this way for a long time. Adam Heavy Hammer felt severe pain in his abdomen, even though he was a robot. The mechanical prosthesis on his body had long been connected to his brain nerves, so he still felt pain. Hey, how long are you going to lie down? Get up quickly. Ye Fei arrived in front of Adam in an instant when he sighed with Heavy Hammer. Seeing Ye Fei's harmless face, Adam woke up with a heavy hammer and jumped 3 meters away with his legs. Brat, I am not only good at punching and kicking. Let you taste the power of my prosthetic body. As Adam Heavy Hammer spoke, he pulled out a rifle from a certain part of his body and stretched out a hand cannon from his arm. Even the miniature final missiles on the shoulders stretched out together, firing violently at Ye Fei. Da-da-da. Bang, bang, bang. All of a sudden, the scene became full of gunpowder, and the place where Ye Fei was standing was also covered by firepower. When Adam's sledgehammer consumed all the weapons and ammunition in his hand, the ground where Ye Fei was standing was already destroyed, and small pits appeared. Ask for flowers, and when Ye Fei fought Adam Heavy Hammer again, a media helicopter was filming all of this high in the sky. Ye Fei's eyes froze. He glanced at the sky and did nothing but put a mosaic on his own face. People of Night City, we have received news that a terrorist has attacked a hotel owned by the Erida Corporation, which is our most luxurious hotel in Night City. Combiyin, now the signature mercenary Adam Heavy Hammer, which belongs to Arbin Corporation, is fighting this terrorist. The following is what we captured. Ritzbar Judy was originally working on a mute woe, but when the news came out from her computer, Judy stopped working immediately. She knew that today was the day Ye Fei and the others went to Cyberpunk Mansion to steal that damn chip. Now the news is actually broadcasting this news, so I immediately stopped working and concentrated on watching. Ye Fei. Why is he the only one? Where's Jack? Where's V? Judy saw the scene where Ye Fei and Adam looked at each other with a heavy hammer, and then remembered the news just broadcast that only one terrorist attacked the Cyberpunk building. Although Ye Fei's face was mosaicked for some reason, but Judy could tell his figure at a glance. Could it be that Ye Fei went on this mission alone? Judy couldn't imagine it at all, but the man in the news picture now made her think that things were like this. Victor's clinic. Victor is also in the same situation as Judy. Why? Where did Jack and the others go? Could it be that Ye Fei evacuated to cover them and stayed there to attract the attention of those people in Ereban? Victor's brows were tightly furrowed. He didn't accept anyone's prosthetic surgery today, just to be able to see Ye Fei's news as soon as possible. As a result, I saw the confrontation between Ye Fei and Adam Heavy Hammer in the news. Ye Fei, are you really willing to risk your life just to become a legend? Victor knew that Ye Fei might have some special body, but compared with Adam Hammer, the legendary maker of Night City, it was simply too far behind. He simply couldn't imagine how much chance Ye Fei had in winning. Chapter 71 Massacre. Desperate Adam Hammer Della Man on Taxi. Ms. V, Mr. Jack Wells, Mr. David Martinez. The latest news about Cyberpunk building. Do I need to show you guys? In the taxi, Jack and the others were silent. They thought that Ye Fei stayed there to contain Lai Xian so that they could evacuate the Cyan by building safely. Now that Delaman actually said that there is news about Ye Fei, several people are very excited. Look, damn you, aren't you very smart? Do you still have to ask us? Jack cursed wildly. Hurry up and let me play. How is brother you doing now? David was also very anxious at this time. Although he had only been together for a few days, Ye Fei felt like a real brother to him, maybe fatherly love. Stop arguing. Delaman will give us news about Ye Fei. V heard the sudden noise in the car and suddenly said a little angrily, As you wish. After Delaman said 330, the screen cut directly to the news channel. Although there was a mosaic on Ye Fei's face, the three of Jack recognized Ye Fei at a glance. Damn it, how did this guy Ye Fei have SX with Adam Heavy Hammer? Jack couldn't hold back when he saw the picture inside. It's over, Brother Ye. We shouldn't be leaving. We should be there to help Brother Ye. David saw and slammed on anything he could hit. Ye Fei. V only felt that his eyes went dark, as if he couldn't see anything now. Although she is very confident in Ye Fei, she doesn't know what chance Ye Fei has in facing an opponent of Adam Heavy Hammer's level. Valley Area Apartment Lucy had already woken up from the network intrusion at this time, which was done by Ye Fei. When Arama Lai Xian and Araba Saburo met, he disconnected Lucy and Tbug from the invasion of the Cyberpunk building, and also set up a temporary confusing domain name, so that Huangban's hackers can't find any traces of Lucy and Tbug's intrusion. As someone who knows Ye Fei well, she can still recognize Ye Fei even if he is mosaiced in the video. Ye Fei, why are you doing this? Because of the early withdrawal, Lucy didn't know that the three of Jack had evacuated from the Cyberpunk building and could only see Ye Fei appearing in the news, and Adam's hammer was still in front of Ye Fei. She only thought that the three of Jack had died, and now, the man whom I fell in love with only 2 days ago is fighting the most terrifying existence in Night City. Lucy felt nothing but despair. Could it be that God has given her a little hope and will take it away later? Back to frontal battle, haha, idiot. No matter how strong your body is, after taking damage from my weapons, will you still be safe and sound? When Adam Zongam saw that Ye Fei didn't even hide, he burst out laughing. All the weapons he fired just now were made up of the best weapons of the Arabata group. It is no exaggeration to say that the equipment on his body is enough to wipe out a battalion of company soldiers. And so many weapons hit the body together. Even if they were not wiped out, they would probably have already been torn apart. What are you barking at? The strength of your weapons can't even break my defense. At this time, the suit on Ye Fei's upper body has been sacrificed, leaving only the trousers on the lower body intact. Not only is there no scar on the exposed part, but also there is no 10 spots of dust. Impossible. Are you really a monster that can exist in this world? Adam Heavy Hammer was completely shocked at this time. An emotion that he hadn't experienced in decades flooded his brain. Fear. Extreme fear. Even if Ye Fei suffered a little injury, he shouldn't be so frightened with a heavy hammer. He is already full of tricks, whether it is the extreme use of the top prosthetic body or the bombardment with the best weapon in his hand. None of these can hurt Ye Fei in the slightest. He didn't feel the existence of the odds at all. If Ye Fei could shed a drop of blood, he would have the courage to continue fighting Ye Fei. But Ye Fei not only didn't dodge his attack, but took it all. He had no way or reason to resist Ye Fei anymore. Run. After Adam Heavy Hammer came up with this idea, it was like grabbing a life-saving straw. Boom. Standing up, turning around, and running away was done in one go. And because of driving the prosthetic leg with all its strength, the speed was so fast that the floor was even cracked. Just after Adam's Heavy Hammer ran a few hundred meters. Why run? I thought you were not afraid of death. Ye Fei's voice sounded from Adam's Heavy Hammer, like a thunderbolt exploding in his ear. You monster! Get away from me! Adam Heavy Hammer was completely frightened, and with his backhand, he urged the prosthetic body with all his strength and punched Ye Fei, hoping to make Ye Fei stop. Your hand is not bad. It looks like you can sell it for a lot of money. After hearing this sentence, Adam Heavy Hammer saw that the arm that he just swung his fist had appeared in Ye Fei's hand. What? Adam Heavy Hammer is no longer simply running with all his strength at this time, but is using the overload mode to drive his legs, including his Sion Weiston's Fury is also driving with all his strength. Hey, are you running like this because you really don't want me to take it back and sell it for money? Ye Fei would not let the Adam Hammer consume too much and damage the prosthetic body, and he even took off the legs with the Adam Hammer. Bang, bang, bang. Because of the loss of both legs and the huge inertia, Adam's heavy hammer rolled 3 times on the ground and stopped. Pat, clack. The sound of Ye Fei's leather shoes stomping caused Adam to get up on the ground with one hand, regardless of his own injury. Although Adam Hammer has lost 1 hand and 2 legs, but because they are all mechanical structures, the life characteristics of Adam Hammer are already different from those of ordinary humans. As long as the head is not fatally injured, he has a chance of living. TSK, what are you still crawling on? You just said I look like a bug. Don't you look more like a bug now? Ye Fei was a little speechless. Even in this situation, Adam Heavy Hammer's first reaction was not to resist, but to run away. Is this the same Hammer as Adam Hammer in the game, whose mouth would stink even with a drop of blood left? Adam Heavy Hammer didn't respond to Ye Fei, but was climbing towards the direction of Huangban Tower, where he would surely be reborn again, just like 60 years ago. Cut, it's boring. As Ye Fei said that, he removed the prosthetic body of Adam Heavy Hammer's last arm, and then removed all the removable parts and weapons from Adam Heavy Hammer. What? Adam Heavy Hammer is now completely insane. Except for the useful parts, Ye Fei doesn't even have a moving place for 0.9. He's left with a frame and life support now. Goodbye, Adam Hammer. Now you're also a legend in Night City, but the dead kind. Ye Fei said with a smile on his voice, and took out the King Kong kinetic energy pistol owned by Lai Shui Arabata. Boom. The guy who created countless tragedies and legends was solved with one shot. There is nothing pitiful about Adam Heavy Hammer. He has sold his whole life to the Wasteboard Company, and he regards the people at the bottom as worthless, but he has never looked back at his dirty and muddy past. He has caused a lot of horrific killings in various places in the world, not just in the scope of Night City. And all these pictures have spread to the top and bottom of Night City, and I believe it will spread all over the world soon. Chapter 72. Dig a hole for Dexter Afterlife Bar. Damn it. Adam Heavy Hammer, you have today. You died well. You died too late. Rog smashed the expensive wine glass in his hand, cursed angrily, and then 2 lines of tears flowed from his eyes. The source of the Queen's lifelong fear of the afterlife was eliminated by Ye Fei. Ritzbar FK. Ye Fei, you are so FG awesome. Seeing this, Judy also jumped up from her chair. Victor's clinic, it's really you, Ye Fei. You really didn't brag. You really became a legend. Seeing this scene, Victor silently lit a cigarette. Inside Delaman Taxi FK. Ye Fei. He really killed Adam with a heavy hammer. V. Look, Jack's decadence and remorse when he saw the news at the beginning turned into the ecstasy of joy now. Brother Yi. I know Brother Yi is the best. David was also very excited at this time. He didn't say anything. His eyes were all on Ye Fei's body in the picture to see if he was injured. Valley Area Apartments, seeing this scene, Lucy quickly stood up. I knew you wouldn't die before you took 12 me to the moon. Lucy was also weeping with joy at this time. While everyone is cheering, only Dexter is now worried at the motel. Damn it, I asked Ye Fei to steal the chip, and he overturned the cyan by building for me shit. Although Adam's sledgehammer died, Dexter didn't think they were safe. So what if Norda's Arbor Group lost Adam's sledgehammer? They are also the local emperors of this city, and it is not too easy to kill them, mercenaries and middlemen. Ding, at this time, he received a call from Jack. Old hey, we got the chip you asked for. Which room are you in? Since no one in the car was injured, Jack and the others drove to the motel in a Delaman. Wow, Mr. Jack Wells, I didn't expect that you didn't forget your commission when you called the cyan by building into darkness. This is really great. Dexter originally wanted to run away immediately, but when he received Jack's word that he had received the chip, he suddenly became suspicious. If he ran away in such a desperate manner, he would definitely be found out by the Arbin Ninja one day, and then he would die under the knife. The only way to survive now is to get the relic chip that Ye Fei and the others stole and donate it to military technology or Kong Tao Company in exchange for their protection. Just you, or is it Mr. Jack? Dexter asked cautiously. He only has one bodyguard here, and if he wants to seize the relic chip, he may not have enough manpower. Yes, both V and David have died in the Cyberpunk mansion. Jack tried his best to control his expression so that Dexter would not see it. As for why Jack would lie, time went back to when they just got in the car. Ding, Ye Fei, have you changed your mind? We'll be waiting for you in the parking lot. Come down quickly. Seeing that it was Ye Fei's call, Jack connected directly and said very nervously, "No, I called you just to tell you something. Be careful, Dexter." Hearing what Ye Fei said, Jack was a little confused. Watch out, Dexter. Why? Because he has the possibility of killing people and stealing goods. Ye Fei said with a flat face. Anyone who knows Ye Fei knows that he doesn't yell when he is angry, but this flat look with a very flat tone. Okay, I see. Tell me, how should I pay back? Jack has no doubts about Ye Fei's words. After all, not everyone is trustworthy. First of all, you have to lie that V and David are both dead in the Crimson Mansion, and then go to see Dexter yourself. You must do what I tell you. Understand? Ye Fei talked to Jack a little bit more, and warned him because he was afraid that he would not be smart enough. I understand, but Ye Fei, you have to promise me one thing. You say, come back alive, I like you, brother, and I want to drink with you and let you attend my wedding with Misty. Jack's expression was very serious, and he didn't have the usual playful look. Don't worry, I still want to be your son's godfather. Ye Fei's words made Jack burst out laughing. Okay, then I will let your son call me godfather in the future. This is really unfortunate, Mr. Jack. You can rest assured that I will not lose a penny of the reward I should have, if you can get it. Dexter groaned inwardly. I'm in room 404. Remember, there may be a tail behind you. Dexter hung up the phone. Jack, as long as there is danger, please contact us at any time, and we will rush to help you. Before Jack got off the car, V also asked, Don't worry, I'm Jack Wells, Ye Fei's good brother. Jack smiled heartily and showed his teeth. Walking to room 404, Jack looked around seriously. Then there was a knock on the door. It was Dexter's bodyguard who opened the door. Come in. The boss has been waiting for you for a long time. Jack went straight in and saw Dexter sitting on the sofa. He still looked calm and breezy, smoking a cigar and blowing smoke rings. Mr. Jack Wells, I really didn't expect you to be the one who came here to give us the chip. Seeing the box in Jack's hand, Dexter suppressed his desire to shoot Jack and snatched the box and said calmly, Oomph. Are you satisfied now? Just for a broken chip. V and David. Jack cursed hysterically with tears in his eyes. Of course it is pretend. Mr. Jack Wells, I don't like to hear you say this. There are risks in doing these things. Even if you die, you can't complain, and both Ms. V and Mr. David Martinez are very dead. It's worth it, isn't it? Dexter pointed to the box in Jack's hand and said, Go to your mother. Hurry up. I want $500,000 now. Otherwise, I will smash this box. As Jack said, he made a gesture and picked up the incubator in his hand. No, Mr. Jack, we agreed to find a buyer before we can share the money. What do you mean now? Seeing Jack's actions, Dexter was not calm immediately. Now the chips in these 913 boxes are his only life-saving straw. Draft. V and David are both dead. I'm going to give money to their families. If you don't pay, I'm going to kill you too. Jack's performance was so penetrating. If Ye Fei was present, he would probably have exclaimed, Everything is negotiable. Isn't it just $500,000? I'll give it to you. Send it to me now. Okay, I'll give it to you now. Seeing that most of the money in his bank account was missing, Dexter's heart was bleeding. Although a middleman like him is famous, he usually spends a lot of money. There are various sources of information, all kinds of relationships that need to be managed up and down, all of which cost a lot of money. Moreover, he also bought several real estate properties and some luxury cars, so he was already at his limit to be able to spend 500,000 yuan. But when he thought about it, as long as he gave this chip to military technology or Kong Tao, he might become a middleman for the support of these two companies in Night City, and he felt that it was all worth it. I'll go to the bathroom to wash my face, and I'll open this box for you when I come out. Jack put down the suitcase and walked into the bathroom. After closing the door, Jack opened his scanning eyes and began to scan the outside. Goddamn bastards. Another 500,000? Are you damn it going to take your life? Dexter cursed softly, but he heard it clearly under Jack's scan. Chapter 73. The scapegoat hearing this, Jack also silently took out his pistol, then loaded it silently, pulled the bolt, and prepared to go out and kill Dexter and his bodyguards. It's just that the whispering between Dexter and his bodyguard outside has stopped at this time, and they don't know what happened. Hey, Jack, why are you so slow? Jack looked at Ye Fei, who was sitting on the sofa, and he was in a daze. Ye Fei is now wearing a suit he got from someone who doesn't know where he got it, and he has replaced the suit that was damaged in the battle with Adam Heavy Hammer and replaced it with casual clothes. Looking at the mechanical prosthetic bodies randomly placed around the room, Dexter swallowed, which he was all too familiar with. Every year, when Adam Heavy Hammer replaces his prosthetic body, the intermediary will pay attention to which parts are added to him. Among other things, let's just talk about the 5-stage Scene-Weisten Violent model that is placed on the table. Even if you want to buy it, you can't buy it on the black market. This is Araba's top product. As for Ye Fei, although Dexter saw him crushing Adam Hammer on the TV news just now, he still felt that his arms couldn't twist his thighs, and the power of the company would always override his personal bravery. No matter how powerful a person is, he is just a dog that can be beaten by a big man. Adam Hammer is an example. Even if Ye Fei is very strong, he can crush Adam's heavy hammer. But can he hold nuclear bomb? One nuclear bomb is not enough to blow you up to 10 in a row. There is always a way to kill you. That's why he wanted to kill Jack and go to military technology or Contao. With the protection of these two companies, Ye Fei had to weigh whether he had the ability to kill him even if he wanted to kill him. It's just that Dexter can never figure out what's really special about Ye Fei and how he can get stronger by absorbing sunlight, which is just too much nonsense. Mr. Yi, I didn't expect you to be able to kill Adam Hammer. It's amazing. You will be a new legend in Night City from now on. Although Dexter thinks that it is not a problem for the company to crush Ye Fei, he doesn't think it will be difficult for Ye Fei to crush him. Didn't you see the prosthetic body of Adam Hammer placed all over the ground? Even if there are 100 of his bodyguards, it is impossible for Adam Heavy Hammer to be the opponent. Mr. Dexter, I have something to ask you. Why I didn't find what should be in Delamain's itinerary program and amend the itinerary record? Ye Fei's tone is very calm. It sounds like an old friend is reminiscing with Dexter, and Ye Fei's words make Dexter feel creepy. No, Mr. Yi, there must be some misunderstanding in this. Maybe it's because of Della Howe's program modification. Don't you think so? Although Dexter really wanted to keep calm, but looking at the prosthetic bodies of Adam Hammer randomly placed around him, he couldn't keep calm at all, and he didn't even notice that the never-ending cigar in his hand had fallen to the ground. Actually, this is just the second thing. There's one more thing I don't think you know. Ye Fei shook his head slowly, and then turned on the TV. My father, he died in this terrorist attack. I believe it was a premeditated attack. If I hadn't evacuated early, I might have died in the Cyan by building. I will definitely find the murderer. Lai Xian on TV was emotional, and the expressions on his face were captured clearly. Fear, remorse, anger, and resentment were all vividly expressed by him. What? Saburo Arita is dead. Crazy. You're all crazy. I told you to steal chips. You killed Saburo Arita. Dexter completely lost his mind at this time. Saburo Arita, the real master of Night City. Such a character actually died at the hands of Ye Fei and the others. At this moment, even if Ye Fei had 100 mouths, it would be impossible to clarify his relationship with this matter, even if Saburo Arita was not killed by them. As long as Ye Fei is not videotaped. What if I say that the person who killed Arama Saburo was Arita Laika? Ye Fei manipulated the TV and put everything recorded just now on it. Your mother must be ashamed to see you like this. Shut up. You don't deserve to mention my mother. You don't deserve to. In the picture, the scene of Arama Laishian strangling Araba Saburo to death is very clear. Even Araba Laishuan's expression is clearly captured. After the broadcast, Ye Fei deleted the recording on the TV. Mr. Yi, This video is our last straw. As long as we can use this video to threaten Irana Laishian and Irana Laishian to reach a cooperation and surpass Rog, it is only a matter of time. Dexter spoke impassionedly, as if he really belonged to Ye Fei. Dexter, who is with you and us? Didn't you instigate the terrorists to attack the Cyan by building? What does this have to do with me? I happened to get this video, Ye Fei said, and then said to Lai Xian, who was on the other side of the phone. Are you right, Lai Cho? Thank you, Mr. Yi. You helped me find the culprit who killed my father. Subaru Arida in the picture is in the lounge at this time, and he was worried about what he would do if Ye Fei was caught by the TV station's helicopter. If you cooperate with Ye Fei, you will be besieged by Arida Hanako and Arida Michiko. In the end, he may really be reduced to become the resurrection body of Arida Saburo. As a result, the face of Ye Fei captured by the helicopter was all mosaiced. Even the best technicians of their walking board group could not restore Ye Fei's appearance. He was planning to denounce military technology and Kongtao at the press conference, but Ye Fei called. A few minutes ago, are you crazy? Ye Fei. Araba Laishian looked at Ye Fei on the other side of the screen and cursed in the lounge. Mr. Yi, as long as we can use this video to threaten Araba Laishian, Dexter on the other side of the screen spoke excitedly, and then Ye Fei spoke. Who is with you and us? Didn't you instigate terrorists to attack the Cyan by building? Araban Laishian immediately realized that Ye Fei has found a good candidate for him to take the blame. Although he is only a small guy, he can use this guy to make a fuss about military technology. In this way, he can get away from this storm, Li Zhao's waves. Back to normal timeline. What are you talking about? Ye Fei. UBD. Because Ye Fei played the speaker, Dexter also heard what Arban Laishian said, and he immediately reacted. Ye Fei is going to use him as a scapegoat. Although many people know that Ye Fei has accepted Dexter's commission, but who knows if Dexter will have backup? There's a picture of Ye Fei. That is, the picture of defeating Adam Heavy Hammer. Doesn't it mean that the person who caused troubles in it to kill the boss and slaughter the Cyan by building is Ye Fei, right? He is only one person, killing from the 100th floor to the 1st floor. You think Ye Fei is Superman, don't you? It must be Dexter, a thick-eyed but dishonest guy who found another group of people to cooperate with military technology to attack the Cyan by building. Although he has no eyebrows. Chapter 74, watching Dexter draw his pistol. Ye Fei shook his head and sat motionless on the sofa. Bang! X5 Dexter fired 5 shots in a row, each of which was aimed at Ye Fei's vitals. But there was a scene that made Dexter tearful. Ye Fei took all the bullets with one hand. Then they ejected them one by one with their hands. Pooh! X5 Dexter didn't have the ability to catch bullets with his bare hands, and his 5 limbs were broken and disabled in an instant. What? The severe pain made Dexter feel overwhelmed instantly. Ye Fei is so ruthless. Lai Xian, keep your mouth shut in room 404 of the motel. He hung up when he was late. After Ye Fei finished speaking, he waved to Jack, who was already stunned. Let's go. What are you still looking at, Jack? You also want to be captured and tortured by the Baron people. Ye Fei's words pulled the dazed Jack back from his daze. Everything Ye Fei arranged was like a big net, covering everyone in it except himself. Oh, let's go now. Jack picked up the box containing the relic chip and walked out. Ye Fei was the prosthetic body holding Adam's hammer, leaving only Dexter moaning in pain in the room. Well, killing him directly should not have caused the torture of the wild intelligence personnel to torture him. 250 Ye Fei thought so in his heart. Ye Fei. David, brother Yi. Ye Fei put the prosthetic body in the trunk. Anyway, he's going to make a lot of money this time. Not only got €500,000 from Dexter, even Lai Xian gave him a fortune, a huge sum of money that would not attract the attention of his sisters Arida Hanako and Arida Michiko. €1,000,000. Seeing this, Ye Fei can only sigh. He is indeed the prince of Huangban. He doesn't know how many so-called big commissions he has to accept for €1,000,000 to receive so much money. Haha, Ye Fei, we really made a lot of money this time. I'll transfer the money to you now, and you can see how to divide it yourself. As Jack said, he transferred the €500,000 to Ye Fei without any regrets. and he believed that Ye Fei would not treat them badly. 300,000 per person, Arabam Lai Xian just gave me €1,000,000. Ye Fei smiled lightly. He would not treat anyone in his team badly. As for Bug, it's the best reward for me to get her out of here without incurring a fatal disaster. If she wants to join them, Ye Fei will not suggest it. 300,000. David fainted from happiness when he heard the people here. Yes, the kind with a smile on his face. Ye Fei, Arabam Lai Xian is really FG generous. Sec. 1 million can be given as you please. You are indeed the prince of the Arbin Group, but this money should be his personal reward for you. Take it out and divide it. Jack swallowed. It was obvious that Ye Fei and Huangban Tower's hand quality completely shocked him. Regardless of whether Ye Fei frankly said that Huangban Xian gave Ye Fei 1 million, Ye Fei is willing to give them the money that is almost a personal reward. It was Huangban Xian who gave Ye Fei 1 million at will, which was something he had never heard of before. It's just that Jack knows that the money is definitely not for all of them, and Ye Fei's willingness to share the money with them is entirely very kind of Ye Fei. No one in Night City would be willing to give this money to others. Although Jack transferred 500,000 to Ye Fei just now, the money was equivalent to the salary of their entire team. So Jack didn't miss it, and the 1 million Ye Fei got from Lai Xian, Jack asked himself, if it were him, he might not be able to take it out. What are you talking about? Everyone did this ticket together. As the captain of the team, I must share the money with everyone. Ye Fei slapped Jack, who was sitting in the front row, and said, hey, you are right. You're my boss, and everything you say is right. Jack felt relieved after hearing Ye Fei's words and immediately began to fantasize about how he should spend this huge sum of money. As for the secretive motel not far behind them, it has been surrounded by people from the Arbin Group for 3 floors. Inside Victor's clinic, well, this is the prosthetic body of Adam Hammer. You really brought it back. Victor looked at the mechanical prosthetic body placed in his prosthetic body clinic and looked at Ye Fei in disbelief and said, Old Wei, let's see if these prosthetic bodies can be changed into ordinary ones. Ye Fei said, aren't you talking nonsense? These prosthetic bodies are just extra special steel added to the outside to increase the defense, and the inside is still usable. Victor smiled and cursed at Ye Fei. Jack, David, you guys have a look at what prosthetic body you want. Come and choose by yourself. Ye Fei turned to several people and said, Ye Fei, I think my current prosthetic body is very good. Jack looked at David and V beside him. Although he really wanted Adam Hammer's prosthetic body, he still wanted to refuse. Brother Ye, I really took too much. I can't ask for more. So is David. I just want the locking system for that smart weapon. V is not polite. Anyway, the relationship between Ye Fei and her has long been inseparable, and it is definitely too hypocritical to shoot now. Ye Fei. At this time, Lucy also rushed to Victor's clinic and saw Ye Fei standing among the crowd. All of a sudden, he rushed forward and hugged Ye Fei. I thought you wouldn't come back. Lucy said with tears in her eyes that she was really scared when she saw Ye Fei in serious confrontation. Aren't I living well? By the way, I got a good thing from those hackers in the Cyberpunk building. Ye Fei took out the chip he had snatched from a hacker who looked good when he went to the hacker room. Damn, Tier 5 military-grade network monitoring and network drive chip. Ye Fei, this is really the best hacker chip now, and there is no such chip in circulation on the market now. Even with Victor's calm appearance, he directly swears. He should be able to find general combat-type prosthetic bodies by asking someone in the market. It is really impossible to find such a 5th-tier military-grade network surveillance chip, and the people who can have this chip must be the most elite group in network surveillance, or only hackers who are responsible for the security of such big bosses as Saburo Arama Group of Arba Group and Su Shiming of Kongtao Company can install this kind of chip. Unfortunately, Saburo Arida is in the Combi building today. Ye Fei said with a smile, your own safety is the most important thing. Lucy's appearance made Jack show an understanding expression again, and then he felt something was wrong next to him. Turning around, he saw V with a very unhappy face. Jack swallowed and said, I'm a little thirsty. I'll go out and buy a bottle of water first. Jack, wait for me. I'm going to. David naturally also saw V's expression and immediately followed Jack out. Ahem. What? I suddenly remembered that I have some work matters to discuss with Misty. Please sit here for a while. Victor, a fine man, could see what was going on, but he didn't say much and just ran away. The three of you were talking eloquently just now. You're FG thirsty now, aren't you? Ye Fei gritted his teeth and cursed secretly. Chapter 75. Rebecca's invitation. Lucy, you have a good relationship with Ye Fei? When did it happen? Why don't I know? V said word by word. To be honest, Ye Fei would rather face 100 atom hammers than see V's expression now. V, I don't think Ye Fei needs to explain this to you. Lucy also looked at V without timidity and said that although she and V got along very well, facing the problem of Ye Fei, Lucy didn't really want to back down. V, shut up. I still have to settle accounts with you. As soon as Ye Fei called V gave him a sharp look. Lucy eyed, seeing that V was angry. Ye Fei turned to look at Lucy. Ye Fei, let me talk to V about this matter. You go out to drink and chat with Jack and the others now. How about it? Lucy was not as direct as V, but Ye Fei saw Lucy's clenched fist even though she had a smile on her face. Okay, you guys have to keep calm. I wait for you outside. Ye Fei walked slowly to the door of the clinic after speaking. Jack, oh, don't squeeze me, David. David, Jack, this place is so small. Where can I go? Victor, don't talk. You can't hear me anymore. Ye Fei opened the door with a face full of black lines, frightening the three squatting people at the door. Why are you here? Didn't you say you were going to buy a drink? Ye Fei said with a smile on his face. Ahem, isn't it time to finish drinking and see if you have a chat? Jack coughed and then poked David next to him with his elbow. Huh? Yes, we just got here and just arrived. David was stunned for a moment. Then he reacted and nodded repeatedly. Really? But you only came out for less than 2 minutes, and you finished your drink so quickly. Ye Fei looked at the three people in front of him and said, to be honest, it's fine if Jack and David are eavesdropping here. Victor, you usually look quite simple and honest. Why are you becoming such a gossip now? Ding, an unexpected phone call came from Ye Fei. Rebecca, did you call me at this hour for something? Ye Fei said, I'm going, Ye Fei. The people who went to Cyan by Mansion and Dexter tonight slaughtered CUN by Mansion and beat Adam Heavy Hammer, right? Rebecca's words made Ye Fei feel a little unbelievable. After all, he had mosaicked himself, and Rebecca could recognize him. Of course, I touched your muscles with my hands that day, and I could see it right away. Rebecca said proudly, not caring how bold her words were. That's right, this kind of girl is normal in Night City, and they all have a mentality of carpe bliss in a timely manner. As long as they like what they like, they can just rush straight away. For example, the relationship between Ye Fei, Lucy, and V is too rare. It would be the case with other people, but it is the case of the master ascending to heaven together. Ahem, girls should be a little more reserved. Ye Fei was also shocked by Rebecca's words. I don't care so much. I'll wait for you at the Lazy Bar tomorrow. I want to hear how you made a big fuss in the Cyberpunk building. Rebecca was a little impatient when she heard Ye Fei's words, and then asked Ye Fei again. After speaking, I hung up the phone. Ye Fei is also a little helpless. He hasn't solved it yet. Another girl came outside. It seems that being too popular is also an annoyance. But forget it. Anyway, I'm going to Lizzie's bar tomorrow to return Judy's pistol to her. So let's celebrate there, by the way. Hey, Ye Fei, you're still so lucky. It's okay, I know I won't tell V and Lucy. Don't worry. Jack said as if I understood you very well. You know, a hammer. Do you want me to tell Misty that we went out for a drink a few days ago, and you want to play with 2 girls in your arms? Seeing Jack's expression that seemed to understand, but was actually gloating, Ye Fei became very angry. Don't. Didn't you get drunk last time? Otherwise, I wouldn't be fooled by those 2 girls. As soon as Jack heard Ye Fei's words, he turned his head and looked at Misty, who was standing at the counter of the divination shop. Jack was also relieved to see that Misty didn't hear her. Although Jack likes Misty and is willing to marry him, it doesn't mean that Jack won't go out for some excitement. The mercenaries in Night City are basically muddling along. One day counts as another day, and they don't even think about starting a family. Jack is already clean of himself. People like Ye Fei, who came to Night City and didn't even ask out a young lady, are as rare as a basically extinct animal. As for flowers, inside the clinic compared with the relaxed atmosphere of Ye Fei and the others outside, the atmosphere in the clinic, Lucy and V, two sisters who usually have a good relationship, became a little tense. V, I know Ye Fei came to Night City with you, but Lucy was the first to speak, but was interrupted by V in the middle of speaking. Lucy, Ye Fei should have transferred this reward to you. You must have enough money to buy an apartment now. If so, I think it's better for you to move out. V didn't care so much. To be honest, she only found out that she fell in love with Ye Fei after she kissed Ye Fei at the Cyan by building today. She always thought that she would live with Ye Fei like this, but now there is an extra Lucy, and it is obvious that Ye Fei likes her quite a bit. This made V feel a sense of crisis. V, I think we should have a good talk, Lucy said as calmly as possible. Talk? Talk about what? Split Ye Fei in half, and we are one half, V said with some displeasure. Actually, I think our way of life was pretty good before. Are you kidding? What kind of lifestyle did we have before? Shared renting? Or roommates? The most important thing is whether you have forgotten the matter of each according to his own ability. V squinted her eyes and said, she remembered that she had said this when she was shopping with Lucy before. She could see that Lucy liked Ye Fei a little bit, and after the showdown, Lucy also admitted the position, but she was not sure what Ye Fei would do to her. It's just attitude. Lucy also saw that V, who claimed to be Ye Fei's sister, obviously liked him, but she definitely didn't pierce the window paper. Each according to his ability? V, aren't we just relying on our ability now? Speaking of which, you basically haven't spent much of your money now, have you? Ye Fei is always worrying about the inside and outside of the house. The two beauties revealed each other's shortcomings, and after they finished speaking, they fell silent. Both of them felt the other's thoughts. That is, they would never let go of Ye Fei. How about this? Anyway, the so-called marriage relationship has basically disappeared in this medium-light world now, since you and I can't let go of Ye Fei. In the end, only Lucy and V knew the outcome of this negotiation. Chapter 76, Soaring in the Sky, early the next morning. Ye Fei still woke up on time, and after walking to the best lighting position that he would always go to every day, he began to absorb the sunlight. Oh, it's still the most comfortable to bask in the sun. Ye Fei couldn't help moaning every time he felt the warmth of the sun. The feeling of growing strength was really cool. Huh, why does it seem that there is something more? After less than 2 minutes in the sun, Ye Fei felt a strange force field around him. Ye Fei came to a conclusion after careful feeling. I should have awakened the biological standpoint. This is a very good ability. The biological standpoint is basically an indispensable ability. Although Superman possesses the most terrifying physical power in the world, there is a shortcoming. That is, ordinary material things cannot have the terrifying strength of a superhuman body. From the 570 in the movie comics, we can see that Superman has the ability to lift a plane, a skyscraper, and even a mountain. But from a physical definition, this is simply unscientific and impossible. Of course, Ye Fei has that kind of terrifying power now. Although he can't lift a mountain yet, it is more than enough to lift an airplane. But the moment Ye Fei hits the plane, the weight of the whole plane will be squeezed to that point because the huge pressure will make the plane fall apart in an instant. This is where the biological standpoint comes into play. The Superman's biological position can be within a certain range, with himself as the center, forming a force field in which the gravitational and repulsive forces in the space are relatively balanced. And when Ye Fei uses this ability, he and the creatures and objects within the range of his position will remain absolutely consistent under the influence of this position. To put it simply, without this stance, Ye Fei would have to be very careful every time he interacted with Lucy and V, requiring extreme concentration to control his own power. Make sure that Lucy and V will not be torn apart by his too terrifying power. In fact, Ye Fei has been maintaining this state all the time, so most of his concentration is on it, and his super brain power cannot be used well. Yesterday was Ye Fei's act of completely releasing himself. It's just that when he has this biological standpoint, he doesn't need to worry that his battle will cause damage to his clothes. Naturally, He doesn't need to concentrate on his intimate activities with Lucy in the future. And Ye Fei also feels that he can control all the cells in his body, including body fluids. To be honest, Ye Fei is also a little afraid that if those big companies can get their own DNA and clone a Superman to fight against him. But Ye Fei now feels that he can control every cell in his body, which is very simple. As long as he is unwilling, it is impossible for even an immortal to obtain any useful genetic data on him. If the biological aspects are awakened, what about flying? Ye Fei thought. As Ye Fei had the idea of wanting to fly, he had already started to levitate. Really awakened. The ability to fly. Ye Fei was very excited immediately. He had been greedy for this ability for a long time, and he always used his super speed to rush. No matter how he looked, he didn't look like a Superman. More like a Flash with superhuman strength. Ye Fei, what's wrong with you? Why are you floating? V, who just woke up, went downstairs to get a glass of milk. But when he saw Ye Fei floating, he said in surprise, I seem to have awakened the ability to fly. Ye Fei here, Lucy just opened her eyes. Seeing Ye Fei floating in the air looking at her, Lucy was taken aback. What's your situation? Lucy, actually I have a secret I've wanted to tell you for a long time. Ye Fei took out that set and V's rhetoric to explain to Lucy. It means that as long as you bask in the sun, you will become stronger every day, and will you continue to awaken other abilities? For a while, Lucy felt that her mind couldn't turn around. Due to the big crash in this world, since 2022, the world has stopped many entertainment projects, including various novels. Lucy, who was born in the 1960s, has naturally never heard of this concept. Smart, that's what it means. Two beauties, are you interested in traveling with me over Night City? Ye Fei made a gentleman's gesture to the two upstairs and downstairs and said, and Lucy stood at the railing and glanced at V downstairs, and V also looked at Lucy with a tacit understanding. I'll go. X2 Lucy's and V's voices sounded at the same time. Wow, that's too high. Looking at the ants-like car below, V was very excited. She and Ye Fei have been homeless since they were young, and the most they have done is cars. They have never touched an airplane, let alone a floating car. It is naturally exciting to fly at an altitude of several thousand meters for the first time. First time feeling like this. Although Lucy has lived in various cities in the beautiful country for a period of time, she has never been on a plane, and her previous dream was to go to the moon once. Although she has not gone to the moon now, she can travel freely in the sky. This feeling of freedom is what Lucy really pursues. When she came to Night City from the beginning, she also came here because she heard that Night City is a truly free city. After coming here, I found that the environment here is similar to those broken cities outside. Although the people inside seem to be free, they're actually trapped by Night City. Most of the people who came to Night City were desperate people who wanted to find a chance of survival in this city. It was only when I came to Night City that I discovered that this is the gathering hub of top-level resources and intelligence. And it is also the location of many high-tech manufacturers. In Night City, the future of the world can still be expected. But at the same time, in the streets and alleys, the ruthless power pouring can be seen everywhere. Gangsters, corporate agents, goons, cult members, politicians, and criminals of all stripes fight to the death. And those civilians can only survive in these struggles, and the situation is very difficult. Although Lucy has a certain hacker ability, but in this city, who knows that one day you will kick that iron plate? It's just that she was lucky enough to meet Ye Fei. If Lucy's previous dream was to go to the moon, then her current dream is to stay by Ye Fei's side. This is also what she realized after arguing with V last night. Thinking of this, Lucy immediately kissed Ye Fei's face, and V on the other side kissed Ye Fei not to be outdone. The actions of the two of them made Ye Fei shiver in shock. Although I don't know what the final negotiation result between the two of them is, Ye Fei thinks it's good to maintain a relationship like this. Chapter 77 My heart is on fire. Ye Fei, so what do you think the chips in this box are for? V gnawed at the bread delivered by the delivery robot and poked the box containing the relic chips. Is the chip inside here related to the soul storage project that Erobato has been promoting recently? Lucy analyzed and said that recently, Araba has gradually begun to publicize to the outside world his project about reviving the soul stored in the late stage of Mikoto through technical means. This project is not a secret in Night City. Although it is promoted in the upper class, the lower class people also have ways to get this kind of news. Hee if you know, just put it on and have a look. Ye Fei took out the relic chip from the insulated box and observed it carefully. Compared with the game, you can only see some brilliance. The texture and abnormality on the relic chip seen here can be seen from the material. The extraordinary thing about this chip. Then, Ye Fei inserted it directly into his own chip slot. Ye Fei, why are you doing everything to yourself? V is also 12 speechless. To be honest, everything Ye Fei has done since he entered Night City is very dangerous. Now he even dares to stuff such unknown chips into his body. Ye Fei didn't reply. He is currently processing the data in the chip at a high speed. To be honest, it is a very huge project for a person's consciousness to upload the truth. Rao is that it took Ye Fei nearly 10 minutes to use his own superbrain to process the consciousness of Johnny Silverhand copied in the relic chip. If Araba's technicians knew at this time, they would probably want to smash their heads against the wall. They used Araba's most advanced supercomputer to run for nearly a day before transferring the consciousness of Johnny Silverhand to this chip. It took Ye Fei 10 minutes to process it by himself. So one can imagine how precious Ye Fei's superbrain is. Ye Fei is now mired in memories. It's a memory of Johnny Silverhand. All the lights under the stage gathered on him. Below the stage is a group of excited audience. Johnny Silverhand, you are my god. Johnny Insho looked at the cheering audience with an imperceptible smile on his lips. Then I saw Alter Cunningham, who had quarreled with him a few days ago, standing on the side of the stage and looking at him. When the last song was sung, Johnny Een raised a unique Marilone 3516 in his hand. The audience were not afraid. They just liked the crazy style of Johnny Silverhand. We will never die, boom. With a gunshot, the audience shouted even more enthusiastically, but they didn't know that this was the last time their idol would revel on this stage. Looking at the audience for the last time, Johnny Silver touched the guitar in his hand with his hand. Angry, manic, reluctant. These emotions were intertwined in his heart at once. But without too much nostalgia, Johnny Insho walked down the steps directly. Johnny, wait. Although Carrie knew that the hope was slim, he still wanted to persuade Johnny. It's too late to stop now. Go back to the stage. Johnny Silver pushed Carrie away and then grabbed his collar and cursed. Go to TM's stage. Go to NM's audience. Don't worry about these things. Just be yourself. This is Johnny Silverhand's last piece of advice to his promising rock junior. Damn, I'm going to miss you. Very, very much. Carrie gritted his teeth and said to Johnny Silverhand, you will still miss me in your next life, SB. After Johnny finished speaking, he pushed open the iron door. As soon as the screen changed, Johnny had already reached the rooftop and saw the heroic Rog in front of him. You are late. Hey, I just like the way you look. You crazy woman. I'm already hardened by seeing it. FK, if you keep talking nonsense, I'll tell people to go back now. Rog just rolled his eyes at Johnny. She was used to Johnny's silver-handed look. As soon as the picture changed, Johnny was already sitting in the helicopter. Woohoo! This is what Night City should look like. Looking at the Night City that was already in chaos below, Johnny couldn't help cheering. Let's make a big fuss. Ye Fei saw that this part was not so enjoyable, so he fast-forwarded to the past. Speed up the brain. Johnny puts a nuclear bomb in the elevator and then shoots the elevator's cable. FKNM's Huangban Tower, go to hell. Just as Johnny was about to evacuate, a nightmarish figure fell in front of him. FK, that's Adam Hammer. The hackers in Johnny's team recognized it at a glance. Let me see which little bug broke into the barren board tower. Heavy footsteps sounded. Adam Heavy Hammer's burly body walked out among a group of elite mercenaries. Johnny, run. The shouts of his teammates sounded in the earphones, and Johnny gritted his teeth. Finally, after a while of circling, he finally ran to the rooftop of the Huangban Tower. Hold my hand. Rog looked at Johnny's silver hand below with complicated eyes. Johnny just felt his hands go loose, and he fell, seeing Rog's expression for the last time. There were all sorts of emotions on that face. Remorse, anger, hatred. At this time, Adam Heavy Hammer had already walked to Johnny Silverhand's side with his own gun. I told you a long time ago, little Johnny, you will die in my hands sooner or later. Although he really wanted to pick up the Marilone 3516 that was at hand and hit the Heavy Hammer hard. But unfortunately, Adam Heavy Hammer didn't give Johnny this chance. The rifle in his hand switched to grenade mode. 400 booms. Johnny only felt that his eyes went dark, and he appeared in a facility with the blooming mushroom cloud and the flames rising into the sky in the distance. It all means that their operation this time has been successful. And in front of him stood a black-haired old man in a kimono who was the owner of their target for this operation. The founder of Arida Group, Saburo Arida. Hey, old guy, I recognize you, Sororama. Johnny is still very out of tune at this time. This is his style. It's just that the resentment hidden in his heart has been completely exposed on his expression. Saburo Arida turned around and waved to the guard standing beside him. Go out. What waves can a cripple make? I want to see his eyes. Within a few seconds, all the people in the facility were evacuated, leaving only a researcher wearing glasses and Saburo Arida. Haha, it's so beautiful. Let me burn it all to ashes. Speaking of the second half, Johnny was already gnashing his teeth. My husband died in the tower. The scientific researcher next to him said without sadness or joy. But there is a fate worse than death in this world. After saying that, Johnny felt his eyes go dark. Chapter 78. Meeting Ye Fei. Ye Fei. The voices of V and Lucy came at the same time, and Ye Fei slowly opened his eyes. Shaking his head, Ye Fei realized why V had to die once in the game to make the relic chip work. It's not so much running as it is because the downloaded content is too large, and the other side needs to shut down first and then download the content in the chip. Otherwise, normal people can't use the relic chip at all. Damn, where the hell is this? Johnny only felt his eyes go dark, and when he opened his eyes again, he was standing in Ye Fei's apartment in front of him, and he feels that he has a connection with Ye Fei. Just kidding. He is Johnny Silverhand, a unique existence in this world. Why would he have a connection with this kid who looks less than 20 years old in front of him? Hey, boy, where the hell is this? Also, who are you? Hearing Johnny's words, Ye Fei raised his head and glanced at Johnny, who was standing not far away. And then an inexplicable smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. As soon as the brain works, it feels like being sent into a small dark room behind the diaphragm. Me? I'm your landlord. Ye Fei's voice sounded in the small dark room. Ye Fei, are you okay? You just sat here for 10 minutes. I thought you were doing something. V asked with some concern, although Ye Fei knows a lot of things, but if the relic chip is not in place, there will be some strange network viruses in it, and plugging in this chip so recklessly may more or less get shot. Well, there's indeed a virus in this chip, and it's quite big. Ye Fei nodded and said, What? It feels like pulling out this chip. When Lucy heard Ye Fei's words, she was so frightened that she wanted to hack into Ye Fei's system and eject the relic chip. Ye Fei looked at the alarm interface that popped up in front of him, shook his head, and then popped out the chip. Well, just now Ye Fei has completely cut the data of Forney Silverhand from this chip into his brain. Yes, cut. The relic chip is just a shell now, and the contents inside have been taken away by Ye Fei. Moreover, the relic chip has been invading his body during the period of his meditation, trying to crack Ye Fei's DNA data and then transform Ye Fei's body into a body suitable for Johnny Silverhand to survive. It's just that in the face of Ye Fei's suppression, the relic chip has no way to change any of Ye Fei's cells. His current body is a Superman's body, which contains a whole code of life. How can this be cracked by a small chip? However, Ye Fei didn't care, and the chip was created entirely for his own purposes. Miss Huazi, we are already trying to upload the consciousness of the Heavy Hammer. Oda respectfully stood beside Hanako Arida and said, Yes, the consciousness of Heavy Hammer. As the best dog under Araba Company, Adam Heavy Hammer is also qualified to copy his own consciousness in Mikoto. Arida Hanako fell into the conversation after Saburo Arida called her to the room the day before yesterday. Miss Wazi, When Oda's voice sounded again, Arata Hanako came back to her senses. Well, to upload his consciousness to the relic chip, we also need him to make a little contribution to our Araban group. Huazi Arabata said indifferently, although she didn't care about the dog's life when Adam hammered it. But after the massacre that Arabata group faced yesterday, Night City's armed forces are extremely weak. If it weren't for the Soul Killer's intimidating military technology, those Western barbarians would have entered Night City long ago. So now they need a role that can barely be responsible for deterring powerful enemies. Although Takemura Goro is not weaker than Adam Heavy Hammer, and even stronger than Adam Heavy Hammer after installing his own prosthetic body, Takemura Goro has now taken over the security responsibility of Adam Heavy Hammer and is responsible for the current life safety of Araban Laishian. Although Makashi's server is underground in the headquarters of Night City, it's not a problem for Hanako Arata. They also have high-level spies over there. It is still possible to upload the consciousness of Adam Hammer and then send the chip to them. Having said that, Arata Hanako glanced at the fully mechanical prosthetic body beside her. This pair of prosthetic—
No more novels? Take part in the voting. The most requested novels and those with the most likes will be chosen for publication on euroaudiobooks.com. There, I can upload as much as I want without the risk of receiving a strike. Our 18 novels and other content that exceed what is morally acceptable are only published on Patreon or the free novels page. Remember, the site is funded by donations on Ko-fi and Patreon memberships.